Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Is anybody still there? Is this thing on? I think it is.
I don't think anyone's there anymore.
We're back. Don't call it a comeback. Don't give me a comeback. I shouldn't have said that either. Fucking hell, it's been so long. Hello! It is episode 33 of the Geno52 podcast, and as always, your Lord and Saviour Strump is here. Got to big the ego up a bit, haven't I? You know, I was talking about drinking port the other night, and somebody said, "Oh, I remember." I think it was. I can't remember. He said, "Oh, I remember it used to be roller cola." I said, "Well, yeah, well, being the unelected dictator of the UK heresy scene, I've got to have some perks now. I'm drinking port out of a crystal glass." And if you don't follow me personally on Instagram, that means absolutely fucking nothing. So, as always, I am joined by. I was going to say Horus Heresy's premier red wine enthusiast, but we're on the tea again tonight.
It's a school night, isn't it?
It's a Sunday night.
It's a Sunday night. Yeah, I've got a lot to paint this next week, like a shitload to paint it, and I need to be clear-headed in the morning.
Yeah, we are back after our sort of unintentional 2-month sabbatical.
We kind of pressed snooze a few too many times, I think.
Life got in the way, basically, didn't it? It was, we're going to record tonight. Oh, no, shit. An hour before we're going to record.
Yeah, and happened twice.
Happened twice.
There was going to be a bit of a break anyway, because we both had holidays that kind of went back to back with each other. And
then when you record once a month, missing two recording nights is... Yeah. And we record on the schedule we record on, because that's when we can fit it in around life anyway. So it's not like we're just ambling around. You know, we've been busy and stuff. We both have all been pretty active, but it is good to be sat down. I've been promoted from the. Well, actually, I've been given my corporate management lesson. We're not going to sit on the comfy chairs and the sofa tonight. We're going to sit at the table, because if we sit at the table, we'll be more focused. I think my reply was, "No, we won't. We'll just be at the table."
Well, we have chatted for an hour already before we press record. But
we started at 7 with the chat rather than what we normally do. Just come over at 8 and talk till 9, and oh shit, now we got to go. So we are back. I've said multiple times.
You have.
So I'm excited. I'm happy. It's good to be back, and it's good to be sat and talking shit. So what have we got coming up on the show tonight? Well,
a mix.
Loads of
some stuff we were going to do doesn't really work anymore. It's not really relevant.
So we got obviously going to catch up with what we've been up to. This is when I look at it and think the first thing on my list to talk about is a car, which was August bank holiday weekend.
Yeah, that's quite a while ago.
Yeah, so we're gonna.
They've run another one since then, haven't they? Was it two?
Multiple,
two,
like three, 4, like many of them. That's all right. Pete sold them out anyway before I even went. We've got some listener messages to catch up. We're gonna do our usual rambling crap. We're gonna have a bit of a Tarssis retrospective, because during that time as well, this 2 months.
That wasn't in the original show planning, because this was supposed to be before Tarssis.
Yeah, but I say we haven't been recording. Have run a major heresy event in the middle. Kind of we have been busy doing things. So yeah, we're gonna have a chat about Tarsis, because Tarsis has drawn to a close now. So we're gonna have a chat about the last 2 years of Tarsis and the latest event, and probably have a little chat about what we're thinking of doing going forward. So, welcome. What have you been up to then, Stu?
I can't remember.
That's why we write notes.
It's been that long. What have I been up to? So, I played a game. I've played a couple of games actually since we've.
You played more games in the 2 months we've been off. I think there's the 9 months of this year.
So Callum came down through, and we had a game of 30k, which God knows when that was. That was ages ago now.
The wackest man in heresy.
Yeah. So we. Oh God. When was that? That's got to be 6 weeks ago. It's got to be. I suppose it's
around.
It's irrelevant. No one really cares when it was, but it was too long ago for me to give you any kind of rundown of the game. I'm not one of these people that kind of goes, and then in turn 2, I pushed up with this unit and that. Just my mind doesn't work that way.
I thought I'd be really clever and go on Instagram and see when it was. 27th of September. There you go.
So well over a month ago. Yeah, so it was about 6 weeks
ago. All I
ago.
Remember is when I messaged and said, "How'd the game with Callum go?" All I got was, "He seized on me."
Yeah, he did. So we played. We had Vanguard Strike deployment, and we played Blood Feud.
Yeah.
And he had his hordes and hordes and hordes and stuff. And I thought, I'm just going to have some fun. I'm going to try and get up in his grill really, really early, rather than play like I tend to do with
stand
back
and shoot.
Stand back, and that deployment kind of lends for that anyway. Yeah. So I thought,
he had
a couple of really big scary units. Yeah. So I thought, I'm going to try and get a first turn charge in on a couple of them. So deployed right on the deployment line. Then he seized. So
how many games do you think you've
Well,
been seized on or gone been set up to go second?
This year, I've played, I think, 5 games of Heresy, and at least 4 of them I've been seized on.
And the other one you went second in anyway.
Yeah, something like that. Who knows? But so it's been a bit of a recurring theme, and it's really swung the game each time as well because of the way I've deployed. There's been something big I needed to do in the first game, like in our game a few months back. I needed whoever went first was going to take out one of the big hitters, and I lost my super heavy when I played you. And it was similar with Callum. I'm trying to remember the game now, but he managed to disable my Spartan with my Terminators and other characters in. And that was going to get a first turn charge on. I can't even remember what I was going to do. He had multiple scary things,
many hordes.
But yeah, I was really, really under the cosh very, very early, the first sort of 2 or 3 turns, and then I came back into it. And my Scorpus did a bit of work with what he had so many. So when it started to land,
you can't miss.
But I remember missing. I lost my 2 hardest hitting units in that first turn. So I lost my Weapon Master Vets, and I lost my my Terminators. And my army isn't full of elites anyway, because it's a very
that's the 2 cores you built the army around, really, isn't it? The 2 centre points of that army.
I've got a Herald and a Legion Champion. They are my characters. This is a 3K we played, by the way. So I've got no Super Harry. There's no Lord of Wars. There's no Primarchs or anything like that, and there's no special characters. But it's very, very under meta 3K list. But it was quite close in the end. I can't remember the final score, but it was something like 16-11 or 16-12.
It's one of those lists good. When we talked about when you were putting it together, it was one of those, if it goes well, it will work well. But a couple of cracks and it will start but it's the army you wanted to build.
It's not a list I designed to try and win 4 out of 5 games, or even 3 out of 5 games. I'd be happy with a 2 out of 5 kind of.
It was I think when we were talking about, and I was talking about, I toughened a few bits up for you. It was along the lines of, this is to make sure you can play 4 or 5 turns of a game, not win, definitely. But play. Be involved.
There's some good stuff in there, but there's small synergies, and they're not multiple buffs to a thing. It's 1 buff. So it's something like the Forge Lord with the Rag Grenades with the Weapon Masters. They're great, but then because I want the theme everyone with bloody power axes, they're always hitting last anyway. So there's a lot of kind of.
You put something good in, and then you've taken your theme is then.
I need people not to die, so that in that. So they get to hit back, and then they do hit. They do really, really well. Because when I played Pete this summer, and that unit almost decimated a unit of learning Terminators in 1 turn. The next turn, the one he had left ripped back through the unit, and then the following turn after that, the 1 man left managed to kill it. It was a really tight thing, but that unit probably shouldn't have taken those. But I made some saves that turn, and then when they hit, because they charged.
But it's an army you enjoy playing. It's the army you want to play, which is the important thing.
It's about theme and the way it looked on the table. It's not about. I don't play enough games to worry about whether it's going to be competitive in a meta like that. So, but I had a really good game. I can't remember any serious detail. When I originally put it in the notes to talk about it, I actually could remember the game quite well, but that's pretty much. But it was close in the end, and we had loads of fun. And Alan jumped in the Callum's back. Callum's the same as you. Doesn't hate cats, but can't really touch them without breaking out in hives as well. And Alan just did his.
He's just a dick.
Jumping in the bag, trying to climb in his bag, and you kind of trying to pick him off, and it's just been a bit of a twat. Though he doesn't stink anymore.
Unfortunately, he has now become a star of the show.
He has. So those of you who haven't seen it recently on our Facebook page, someone asked where we'd been, and I gave a little update. So Alan, people might remember that Alan had a bit of a stinky ear problem. He had an ear infection. They had to remove both of his ear canals. He had quite a bad infection, but he no longer stinks. But they showed so much hair off his ear, he did look like Dobby the house elf for a couple of months. It's growing back now, but Alan's fine. He still can't.
There's the lesser spotted willow. She's realised I'm here.
She'll probably be going straight back upstairs again.
No, she's debating can she get to the cat flat without me.
She might be going for the food. Anyway, cat watch is over. Let's. What else have I been up to?
Got to update the cats. You've been painting. You got your AT. You smashed your AT out.
Yeah, I hadn't finished painting my fist when we last recorded either.
Yeah. So the fists are
finished painting my fist. So I added.
That was the last 500 points. Wasn't it?
So it was the 2 Contemptor Quartus. Well, they could be normal Contemptors if I want, but and the Legion Champion that Jack from Anvils of Conor did for me as well. So people would have seen those pics ages and ages and ages ago. I smashed out. I was fully painted on AT until I got my Warhounds, but I've done my Warlord and I've done my Reaver, and I've got 2 lots of Knights. But what else have we done? Played a game of Titanicus for you, but we'll probably cover that a little bit later.
Yeah, we'll cover that. We're going to talk about Titanicus a little bit later.
So, heresy-wise, that was it, really. I've done lots of other stuff. I won't go into it.
You've been painting constantly because that's what you do every day.
Yeah. But even personal stuff, I've finished painting other stuff.
I've done a bit of Stormcast stuff, haven't you?
I
might be finishing mine as well.
But we won't talk about it. We're going to be good and not bore you non-other games players by covering that here. But yeah, very busy, loads and loads of hobby, and played a couple of games, and then obviously
pretty good for 2 months.
And then running Tarssis with you as well. So we have had a busy hobby time. We just haven't been here talking about it.
It's been the time to sit down and actually spend 3 or 4 hours sat around a table and record it. It's just like I said, every time we've sat down to try and do that, it's just vanished, hasn't it? Life has got in the way.
Yeah. So for you, you've been to like 2 events, or 3 events 4 if you include running 2 as well.
Shit, yeah, I've been busy. The problem is for me, like my desk is empty,
right?
Which always makes me feel like I'm not doing anything. But that's only because it's empty. Because at the moment I've done lots of stuff because I've done shitloads.
That's good though. It gets depressing when you've got too much on there.
So first up, I went down to Jungles of Akar, which is the next instalment of the 30k Frontier Rakillian Wars. That is one of my favourite places to go. I love the events down there. I've talked about them before. The standard of the production, they're small events. I think there's 20 of us. I can't remember. It's only a small group, one room. It's let's have less people but give each player more.
Yeah.
Sort of theory that Pete runs, and it's brilliant. So there's so much video production, the mission production, we produce tables of terrain for Tarssis to put out and leave out for 5 rounds.
Yeah.
Pete will build terrain for each round of the freaking game. You know, the tables change every game, you know, and that's not one table, that's all of the tables will change.
And they're all themed to the event
rather than... themed to the event, custom to the missions as well. So you'll have, one of the things Pete does a lot is he'll have 3 missions in a round.
Yeah.
So you will play one of those 3 missions, and there will be 3 sets of tables with custom terrain on them to match that set of missions.
Something I noticed from looking at the pictures from the last event, when the tables are in a row, it looks like there's the outside and then the inside. So that was designed to look like that.
That was the last doubles game. So exactly that. So I started off. I can't bloody remember the games. I know I played Giles' Traitor Ultramarines in the first game, which was fun because we had my loyalist Ultramarines playing Traitor Ultramarines, and I ran the Lokatara Storm out for the first time after spending way too much money and time building and painting them. I love them. They're a real hit and miss unit. They hit 10 dudes with power swords and jump packs and artificer armor. They do the work.
Yeah.
If they get punished. My problem with the Lokataris is they are not as good in combat with their stats as veterans. So if I ran Weapon Master vets, there'd be weapon skill 5, 2 attacks base each, and I can give them all power swords. Okay, so they haven't got... they don't get the 2+ armor.
Yeah.
And they will cost more, but I'm getting an extra attack because they're 2 base. So they're 4 attacks on the charge each. So they're 2 base and they've got a better weapon skill.
Yeah.
Lokataris, weapon skill 4. And 1 attack each base. So they're the super duper assault marines aren't as good as veterans. And this is one of the issues again with veterans. Yeah. Veterans are such a bloody good choice. I love them; they're brilliant. And the other thing is the rules don't really work with the way the unit's set up. So it's a combat unit. Everyone comes with a power sword and a pistol and jump packs. They're assault marines. So their special rules. Okay, it allows them to reroll deep strike. That's great. You know, if you scatter, that's handy. But if you come in from deep strike with assault marines, you generally want to run. Because if anybody's got a template on the table and you deep strike and land and choose to shoot, you're going to get a pie plate on your head. So you want to run. So their other special rule is when they arrive by deep strike, they can fire their guns twice.
Yeah, right.
So now in Centurion, less of a threat. But if somebody's got a flamer support squad or something, you know, there's still scary things that could hit you with templates. You're going to land and want to run. Now, they're also an assault unit. So if they deep strike, they're going to come in turn 2 at best.
Yeah.
They're not going to charge till turn 3. Now, bear in mind, when my Praetor Chaplain, 10 dudes, upgrades, and an Apothecary, they're 1,000 points. to have them doing nothing till turn 3 is a really big point sink in an army.
Mm-hmm.
So while they're brilliant and they've done work, and the people who have been on the wrong end of them will tell you that don't fucking whinge, they're brilliant. I'm not whinging about them. They just don't quite seem to work right. So the other thing, they get to shoot their guns twice. They can take 1 plasma pistol per 5 and 1 on the sergeant. That's the only gun upgrades. Or it can take a hand flamer on the sergeant. Why give them a bonus to shooting for a unit that doesn't have guns? The unit's not about guns.
Yeah,
it's about combat.
It depends how much of their points is based around having that, or whether that's just a little flavour.
The rules don't seem to quite match up with what the unit's trying to do. The way the unit is geared up and kitted up, and the fluff behind it, because they're supposed to be the best assault marines. They're selected from the assault marine companies to be the best. The rules don't make sense thematically don't work. I'm not saying
there's a problem with a lot of the specialist units in the game, isn't there? That they've got to fit somewhere between a tactical squad and a Terminator squad.
Yeah.
And
the balance
because the Terminator squad can't really be any better, and tactical squads are as good as they are. There's not really much space in the middle,
and to try and
then when you got vets,
special
and that's
units
why so often they get whatever the special unit is gets compared with vets, and you don't see them. So you don't see those on the table. Yeah. We've talked about the fist ones before. You don't see
Phalanx Warders, Templar Brethren.
You just don't. Templar Brethren are fine, but again, they're very much themed to one army type. They're not something.
And again, if you put Templar Brethren down against the Locataris, you'd be sitting there going, "Fucking hell, I love the Locataris." I'm not saying they're a bad unit. I find them odd. Yeah,
there's not a natural fit for them in there.
They're not. The rules don't quite work with the stats and don't quite work with the points and don't. None of them are bad. They just don't seem to make sense.
Is it a problem? I've only just thought this. Is it a problem with specialist units that aren't in Terminator armor? When the specialist unit
but Suzerain are fantastic.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
They work. They're Roman. They've got the big shield, the sword, the axe. They've got combat bonus. They've got the combat bonus of being able to step up and take a challenge. Their weapon skill 5. They've got 2 attacks. They've got 2 up armor. They've got all the things they need to be what that unit is supposed to be.
I suppose it's 18 legions trying to make all these specialist units. Some legions have 2.
Yeah,
and again, you've got this small design space in between what is a not standard, and you're trying to make them all different, and then it's very hard.
I think
to
with the Locataris, if you made them weapon skill 5, that would be enough.
Yeah,
that would make sense. Then they're good. Because
I'd argue that they are clearly veterans. Why they don't have
weapon skill 5? Almost if they were just like veteran Marines, permanently with the weapon master skill, they don't have the flexibility to take it, and then they might even be justify a little bit more cost. Then they would make a bit. It's not so much for me. Like, I'm not talking about efficiency because they're good in game. They work. They do their job. They're bloody good. They're Marines with 2 up. Everyone's got 2 up armor. Everyone's got a power sword. They're good.
Makes you wonder sometimes whether these specialist units should be very much based on the veteran.
Yeah.
But then what makes them different will be the odd special rule.
Yeah.
And then
the
access to whatever weapon most suits them for cheaper, maybe.
Yeah.
Or for free. So where would you be paying the extras? It makes you wonder whether that would be the way to kind of do it. So you start at a base level of a veteran squad, and then you give them something that a standard veteran squad can't have that makes them better, that fits with that.
Even if it's not better, it gives them a flavour. It makes them feel more like, well, I'm not just taking a generic veteran Marine that's available to anybody. I'm taking the veteran Marine that is... in the flavour of my army,
that's the whole focus of this system, isn't it?
I don't want every specialist unit to be better than veterans, but I want them to have a reason to take them, even if that is like Suzerain. I love taking them because they're good and they feel right for the army. They feel themey to the army. They feel, especially when I'm running with the breaches. But I love my ZM Force, which is my breaches with my Suzerain, because it's a shield wall. I run 25 dudes with shields. It feels right, it feels like
it's difficult, isn't it?
A Roman shield wall.
Because in one respect, we should probably forget about the rules because we are playing what is widely regarded as a narrative-focused game. But we all like the game to be as balanced as possible. It's the only system without the 3 ways to play, isn't it?
It's not so much for me about that. It's it's not so much about balance. It's about having the enjoyment of the unit. If a unit constantly underperforms, you're not going to enjoy using it. And if it's the special unit for your army that makes your army and your choice, especially in this game system where we all quite solid with what we pick. We're quite personal about the Legion or the Force we pick. We're quite attached to that. Nearly every Heresy player has a main army. You know, you've got me and the Ultramarines, you've got you and the Fists, you've got Brendan and the Mechanicum, you've got Chris Gibson and the Alpha Legion. A lot of the players have a force associated with them. Pete and the Space Wolves, you know. The force, they may dabble with other forces, but they have something, you know, everyone feels like they've got a core army.
Passion, don't they? They keep returning to.
So you want to be able to enjoy those units that make your army your Legion or your force, so things that make your army feel like your army. You want to enjoy playing them, and that's not to say they're going to be the best every game and they're going to dominate, but they should. I feel like I enjoy playing with them. They bring a flavour to my army, or they bring success to my army. They give me a reason. If you've got a unit that constantly underperforms, you're not going to enjoy playing them because you're just going to think, I love them, but I just pick them up and put them in the tape box, and they're weak and they don't do what I want them to do. You know. Yeah,
I mean, I think we're all going to be looking forward to once the Scars is out. And then we finally get the refresh on the red books, and they start to rebalance some of these because there's that natural creep in the game. The later books, and especially
a rebalancing ready for Terror would be cool. And like I said, it's not to make every unit brilliant, but to make the units enjoyable to play. Like I know Night Lords players love Night Raptors, but they just don't do what they need to do. They don't want them to be the best unit in the game, but they just want them to feel. You don't want to feel like you're handicapping yourself by taking the unit,
taking your own flavoured units.
So we played through a car. It was brilliant. By round 3, the Disorano was out. Bloody Matt Burney was making us drink Disorano. The long and the short of it is, we ended up at a very messy dinner, and I went to bed at 3 a.m. after sitting in the Jury's Inn hotel lounge with Johnny and Matt until 3 a.m. with Johnny FaceTiming Tabletop War Doug? Warboss Doug. He was FaceTiming Warboss Doug in America. It was fucking messy. Which actually ended up with, Johnny was supposed to be staying at Pete's, but he slept in the event room. He slept on the floor in the event room rather than share a room with Killer, which is fairly sensible, I think. Johnny came up to my room. We were walking up. He's like, "Can I come up to your room for a shower in the morning?" I was like, "Yeah, come up for a shower in the morning." I said, "I've got hotel breakfast, so I want to get down there and get breakfast." And we got. So he comes up and has a shower, and we go down to hotel breakfast, and I am not well. I mean, we've been drinking. So we went to this. I can't remember the place Pete had arranged, but it was like a burger bar in Southampton, and it was great. It was like just what we wanted: chips, burgers, nice American style stuff. But Johnny got this tropical cider, and it was beautiful.
Sounds like something. Sounds sickly. Sounds like the kind of thing that you'd like the first one, and then it gets
no. See, I thought that, but you know, tropical juice that you would buy in the shop. It just tasted like that. Lily's tropical cider. And we must have had 8 pints of that in dinner. We were hammering it back, and then we went to a bar next door on the end of the London Road, and we drank even more, and I sent a very drunk picture of me and Harry to Collister, and let's put it this way, I finished my night off by drinking something, what was it, a soggy biscuit, which, do you know, this might not mean anything to our Americans, the plastic trug buckets you get for the garden, flexible plastic buckets, soft plastic buckets that you get for your nan uses for gardening. Well, they're miniature ones, about hand size.
Right.
And they were selling cocktails in them, so I was like, I'm going to have one of them. I mean, obviously, I'm midnight, I want to drink cocktails. You know, I've only been up for 12 hours, you know, many hours playing Heresy and drinking all day. I'm going to have cocktails. So I look at it and I see there's a soggy biscuit cocktail. So of course I'm ordering soggy biscuits. Why wouldn't I order a soggy biscuit? Vodka, Kahlua, milk, ice. That's just what you want to put on top of 8 pints of tropical cider, and I'd been drinking Thatcher's Haze all day and Disorano, and I was properly leathered by the time I went to bed. So anyway, go down to hotel breakfast with Johnny, and we stood in a queue, and it's like a 20-minute queue, and I'm not well, and we're like, we're not going to get breakfast, are we? Like we're like time to get there. Johnny's like, Jason and everyone are up at Coffee Lab, which is a nice coffee bar, which is 150 metre walk from the hotel. So I'm like, yeah, fuck it. I'll pay for the hotel breakfast, but I'm just not into queuing for 20 minutes. I was like, yeah, cool. We'll go up there and we'll grab a coffee and some breakfast there. There's a road that leads from the Jersey Inn Hotel, which is around the top of Southampton to the Coffee Lab. It's a major road. It's the main ring road around Southampton town centre. So important context, I used to be a student in Southampton. That's where I used to live. I went to university there. I threw up in the streets many times in Southampton. That was over 10 years ago. I got halfway up the road to Coffee Lab and the coughing started and the eyes started streaming. And I went, there's a set of bins there outside a block of flats. So I can make it there. I'm going to puke behind the bins. 2 steps later, the vomit coming out, and I must have projectile vomited for 50 metres down the road till I got to these bits. And Johnny's just killing himself. He's just walked off to kill him. I'm just this is 9 o'clock on a Sunday morning, and I'm a mature man now. I haven't drunk in Southampton for 10 years.
Mature man.
I have not thrown up in the streets for 10 years, and even when I was throwing up in the streets, it was in the middle of the night at 2 a.m.
People, mature man.
Not at 9 a.m. Compared to what I was when I was a student. Imagine student Trump. He was not. He had even less control. Yeah. So yeah, my highlight of my weekend was vomiting publicly in the streets. I then played 2 incredibly hungover games on the Sunday. Who did I play? I played Callum last game on the Saturday, and I was very drunk by that point. Did I take any pictures? Oh no, that was a group face. That was just 2 a.m. That was a group FaceTime call. Meadows had turned his camera off because he was scared of Harry. I played a chap. I'm really sorry, I've forgotten your name because it was 2 months ago and I'd not met you before, and I was very hungover. I played his Iron Warriors in a game which basically screwed me. The scenario: I had to fly 3 Arvis lighters in to rescue a dignitary out of a factory and take him out.
Right.
Yeah, turret siege terminators. And you got to fly over their head. They destroyed Arvis lighters. It was great fun. It was a really good fun game. But yeah, it was like one of those ones was like, yeah, I'm in a lot of trouble here. He shot down one of the Arvis lighters with my strike force in, which was my 5 destroyers and my Moritat, and I just started tanking invulnerable saves for the crash landing on. We just had this image of like the ship going down and the Moritat like physically he-manning and holding the Arvis lighter together to get it going, and everybody died bar him. I was like, okay, cool. And then we played a massive doubles game at the end, and me and Harry teamed up for that, which seemed fitting as after the Tarsis in the summer, he'd left one of the new Aurorans on the table because he was so hungover on the Sunday when he left, he forgot to put all his 150 models away.
He leaves one behind every
time.
So
I adopted one, and he sat with my Ultramarines till a car to take it back to him, and yeah, we played together, and the 2 of us were very hungover, and it was a great fun game. We basically, you had to break into this compound and get in the middle, and there was stuff going on and stuff, and you blow up walls. And I was like, that's fine, we'll just blow up the walls. I got 2 sets of 2 sets squads of 10 breaches with metal bombs each. I can destroy. Oh fuck! It took us 3 turns to get through the walls. I kept whiffing. I think we took them down with power crack grenades in the end because we just like couldn't hit with anything, and it was just a disaster. We played Ian. Oh, I can't remember the other chat. This is just my memory is shocking after that. But yeah, I don't even think I took pictures. Don't played Ian. Who else did we play? Dark Angels. Was it Killer? Might have been Killer. No. Was it Killer? Yeah, it was Killer. I'm sure it was Ian and Killer. I can't remember. It was 2 months ago. Yeah, so Akar was genuinely, again, brilliant. If you can go to 30k Frontier, go to 30k Frontier. It's my favourite events in the country. Well, one of my favourite sets of events. And when it pops up dates, the first thing I'm doing is checking to make sure if I can go. They are fucking brilliant. I love Akar. And it's so original. Pete puts a load of time and effort into it. It's not just a production. Every mission is custom. The second game I played was Jack from Answakona. So the first mission was the end of Quarter 7, which was the previous one. So you were escaping from the space station, which was the ZM event. So you had to get off the plane. So how you deployed in the second game was escape pods crash landing into a car. So you didn't deploy any models on the table. They divided the table up into 4 quarters and a central bit in the middle. You roll a dice, see where they come in. So you put your unit in and then scatter it. So there's no planning where your units are. Yeah. Your units are just arriving higgledy-piggledy all over the place, and it made for an amazing game because you couldn't just go, right, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z and play to my team. You're like, okay, well, this unit's turned up here. Shit, what am I going to do with them now? What can I do with this unit? And it made the game so much more... It could have been quite fragmented, but I took in a lot of jump marines and stuff so I could get in, and we got a... But it worked. It just worked brilliantly. When I read it, I thought, I'm going to end up with like units over here and units over here. But because it was a table quarter and you're putting a unit in, and they had drop pods essentially, so they had inertial guidance, so they were scattering and stopping, and there was enough terrain on the table that you didn't end up just with units with nothing to do. So it worked brilliant, and that's the sort of level of stuff you get from Pete. You know, you get real cut. Everything really works with the narrative. So that was good. And then I went up to Legion of Peterborough. Which was great. It was great. Everything's great. It was good fun, actually. I went out. It was great because I got to...
You're going to keep saying that until you remember what you
trying to find the pictures. It was really good fun because it was great to hang out with everyone. There was a lot of people up there, and it was really nice because I mean, for me, going to the events at the moment is more about getting time to hang out with people and see people. You know, there's a lot of people I've met over the last couple of years through events and stuff that I don't get to see a lot of because we all live different places in the country. So it was great to go up and hang out. And Dan and the Legion of Peterborough crew put a brilliant event on. You know, it was super narrative, super fun. It was a climax of the series they've been running as well, which I managed to get to a couple of. And yeah, we had 3 games, 2.5K. And what I realised when I deployed with Harry for the first game was I haven't played with vehicles in I don't know how long. I've been just hammering Centurion and ZM, and I was like, shit, tanks. What do I do with them? I was like, it was quite fun because shit.
Very much a theme for the first 8 months of the year.
Oh,
it was most. It seemed like 2 out of 3 events were Centurion based.
But so I've after rescuing the new Auroran from his isolation in the ruins of Moggood Prime, and then teaming up with them at a car to we decided to kick the crap out of each other. That was the very drunken photo I sent Collister. Was me and Harry very drunk in this bar when I was drinking soggy biscuits going, me and Harry won a game. Harry, to put it simply, kicked the 7 pounds of shit out of me for 6 turns. It was a great game. It was a great fun game. I love his army. It was pretty mental. And then we play, second game I played Andy and his Iron Warriors. The mission and the way it was set up did not favour him. We played the ambush setup and I got to go first and he had to deploy first. So I basically... It was done for narrative reasons to make sense with the way the event was running. But it basically meant he put all his stuff out and I put all the right stuff in the right place to kill his stuff. We played 3 or 4 few games, but it was always an uphill battle for him and he played like a true gent and, you know, we played through it and it did work and that was good fun. And then I played Jamie from the Heralds of Heresy in the last game. And we had the classic, which has become kind of a staple of my events now, which I shamelessly stole from Greens from all, deployment maps with no man's land. So Jamie got his Iron Warriors, quite a tough mechanised list, and I got mine, but I got a lot of anti-tank firepower in mine. And we basically said, like, who goes first? If they inflict enough damage is going to do this. So I deployed incredibly aggressively. My javelins literally deployed an inch from one of his units, literally on the line, because I was like, I need them to go around the side and hit his 2 plasma preds and do the damage, because those plasma preds scared me. And yeah, I got the first turn. He didn't seize. I inflicted a shitload of damage, and we battled it out from there. But yeah, it was a great event up at the 30k channel. Beautiful tables, nice setup. Great event, well run by the guys, you know, lovely people. But yeah, it was great. It was really nice actually, because it was just quite a nice day to hang out and catch up with people. And then me and Collister and Will went out for a curry afterwards and talk shit. And yeah, it was generally a really, really good day. And then I went up to Derby because I was working in Arnhem the next day. So that was good fun because everyone's interested in that. And then I will talk about the smaller event we ran. Because we had an Adeptus Titanicus play day.
We did. Well, you did.
Organised play, yeah.
I was in charge of child that day.
Yeah, so we threw down 4 games. I think there were 10 of us, 12 of us.
I think it was 10, wasn't it? I popped in to say hi.
Was it 5 tables? I can't remember if it was 5 or 6 tables. I think it was 5 tables.
I think it was 5 tables, yeah.
Yeah, 10 of us. And it was great. It was basically pitched as come and learn to play Titanicus. You know, it's not a tournament, it's not an event. It was an organised play. That was the idea. to get games in for people. So we just did 1 warlord each and 3 knights each, and it was just learn the mechanics day, and it was just learn to play the actual game and have a go. So that was good fun. We managed to get 4 games in during the day. The first game took like 2 hours to play because everybody was learning.
Yeah.
And then the last 3 games took like an hour each because we got the hang of it. People had got the basics of the rules and how to play it and stuff. So we managed to rattle an extra game in as well. We planned 3, we got 4 in. It was great fun. And Matt Woodsmith's beautiful Legio walked away with best painted and best general. So it was quite nice.
It's gorgeous. People would have seen it.
Yeah, it's Furians, isn't it?
Yeah, didn't he win the one of the? Was it the 4-drop page or the one of the Facebook? One
the
of the
paint the
official
warlord
Facebook,
thing.
Yeah,
he's made all the banners for them and all that kind of stuff.
It's old school themed with the new models. Beautifully crisp,
beautiful
80s, 90s style.
Yeah,
but kind of paintwork. Really, really lovely.
Yeah. So, as we talk about Titanicus, should we roll into a little bit of our first games of Titanicus?
Yeah, exactly. I think we were going to do a big section on it, but it's so long now since we've played a lot of it. I think we just end up rambling.
Yeah.
We're going to ramble.
So should we just talk about our game really? Because obviously I played a bunch more games than you. But let's talk
you've
about
cracked
our game.
How many have you played? You've done about 6 or 7 now, something like that.
Yeah, 5 or 6 games now. I mean, nothing really much. I played.
You played 4 that time, didn't you?
Mostly played with Warlord and 3 Knights. I think when I played with you, was the biggest game I played, which was a Warlord, a Reaver, and 3 Knights each. Yeah. I played a game the other week, which was a Warlord and a Reaver, and he was playing with a Warlord and 3 Knights. So I've tried a few other things out, mainly with just the weapons that are out at the moment as well, just to use what's there and learn it. But I've been really enjoying it. I really like the granular detail of it, where it, reactor management and the orders and that real heavy stuff. But I love the way it's mixed with modern game mechanics, like roll on a d10, the scatter, scattering blast templates. Roll to hit, right? Do you hit or not? Yes, yeah, you hit. Great, fine. You scatter, okay. Roll d10 and a scatter dice rather than 2d6 minus your ballistic. It's smoother. Yeah. You need. What do I need to hit? 3 up. Cool, that's fine. There's some really smart. It's kind of like Necromunda for me. There's elements of 7th and 8th editions in there that blend nicely to give me, as an older gamer, the feel like I'm still playing the games I grew up playing without the bullshit of, referencing tables and stuff all the time. Yeah,
I think I'd agree with that. I think it's... I've just played the one game, the game that we had, and I think it felt like it had some depth and complexity that's synonymous with a GW game of old. But because it was all there in front of you on cards and things, which is the modern, the modern style, that you weren't. So we weren't picking up the book. We didn't pick up the book once.
I think we had the book out to set up the game, didn't we? Because that's the only thing there is.
But
roll for missions, roll for
But it was all on. It's all there in front of you. You know what you need. I like when it tells you what you need to roll.
Yeah.
No charts, no stuff. So that I love, and it meant that even though I'd not played before, with you reminding me of which stage you're at, I need to do this, so that actually finding the stats I needed or knowing what I needed to roll, I could do myself. I wasn't quite often when you're new to a game, the person that's running the game says, right, now you need to roll this. Now you need to
get a 4 up.
That was more of a, right, remember it's this phase now.
And things like, look, when we were talking about what to do, if you do remember that you've got this, like what's quite good is with the way the turn's structured, where your damage repairs come in, interactions with, who you're going to activate first. This potentially could happen before that. I could do this before you do that. And working those things around.
By the 5th turn, or even before that, probably by the 3rd or 4th turn, I was quite comfortable that I knew what I wanted to do and had a plan. Now it's been 3 weeks since we've played it. Now I need to play that game quickly, so otherwise it'll lose it all from my
What
brain.
we need to do is spend a Saturday and play 2 or 3 games.
But it wouldn't take much. I think it would. The first turn I'd be like, I remember. But by the end of it,
I played 5 or 6 games. I still have to keep looking at the chart. What is it? Because it's not just the phase order, which is command, movement, repair, shoot, combat, end. Most of those phases are then broken down. So command isn't the command phase; it's the stratagems, then orders, and then you've got so some of the phase. So, and then one thing we didn't really cover in the game because of the way the game worked is the damage repair phases. Check for reactor leaks, then make your rolls. So there's sub phases of things. So sometimes like we had to keep going. Oh, stratagems, quite often. And it depends what stratagems you're running sometimes. So like I had the plasma the void shield generator sat back by my warlord, so that doesn't really require anything in the stratagem phase because it's re-roll my
It's a buff, isn't it?
But you were using the artillery strike,
Yeah.
so that
you just
requires
don't forget to fire it.
So you've got to remember to do. So it's remembering, because it's also important what phases are going. So the damage control is the key one. You've got to remember that if you are in reactor leak, you take the reactor leak before you make the damage repair roll. So you could take additional damage before that, because there's things that interact with those. So that's why emergency repairs orders come in, because you get to make a repair rolls before you check for a reactor leak. So there's interactions. It's making sure you get those things in the right order to ensure that the thing. I don't think it'll take a lot.
I think because of the relatively small number of units within the game, it's something and not just in the game to learn as a whole in terms of a meta, in terms of what's on the table. You're not it's not 10 different units, and then and your opponent's like, well, I don't know either because I've never used that unit from that particular legion before. There's naturally not that complexity.
If I'm using a warlord, you're using a warlord.
You can fumble through with your play cards and all the stats and things that are on your unit cards.
The amount of information that's given to you on cards. I said the only thing I think is, you need to play it on a 6x4 table, even though it's a 4x4 game. You need that extra space for that card.
We folded. We've made a 4x4 but then we put it right next to my dining table, didn't we? And we used the dining table as well.
So you need that space next to the game. It's not. But then I find that with Necromunda, when I play Necromunda Club, it's a 4x4 mat, or even smaller if we're playing on a ZM. But I'll put a 6x4 board out because you need the space for your gang cards and your books. And
I've just bought, a bit boring, but I've just bought some black felt and cut 2x4 section of it, so I can have the full 6x4 up. And I stick it over the end 2x4 of the table, so you've got your 4x4. And then that's marked off, so your table edge is marked off, and it's a neat neutral colour, so you can. I like things like nice and neat and stuff, like, rather than just putting a line of dice where the edge of the thing is. So I bought that for that and for playing other games, because I'll be playing SGB soon, and that's mainly played on a 4x4. So it's just there. So if I want to play a 4x4 game,
you got a bit of space,
and then I've got the
to be honest, space. I've always said, like, if I was to build, I had a games room in my own table, I would probably build a 6x4 table. But I would build it 8x4 or something,
big extension,
because I love having that stuff at the side. Even when I'm playing Heresy, I like to have, when I go to the club regularly, I will pick the table that's got the windowsill next to it, so that I've got space to put my models and stuff that's in reserve and stuff, so I've got room to play other stuff down, and I can put my dice to one side, because I do like to have a nice clear table.
Back in the shed, I used to have shelves on it, but I just took them off in the end for extra space. But even then, I had a bit of wood that I had cut to mark off a 4x4, but just because my table pops up now rather than out permanently. But a bit of felt, it cost me about £4 off eBay, and it's just a perfect way of doing it. But you're right, you really do want.
You need that extra space. But I find it's a really enjoyable game. I think some of the comments we've talked about, like when we were playing Warlord and 3 nights at the Playday, we were developing tactics. We were saying, like, it's probably not a relevant tactic, because this is a very odd game we're playing. It's not representative of a force you would put out, because basically it's like you drop your knights, go out in the open. So whoever's knights get caught in the open are going to get bellicosed on the head and kill them, and whoever's knights make it into the warlord are going to because over 6 turns, 2 warlords firing at each other generally, unless you get very lucky, are not going to kill each other.
No, we played away each other, didn't we?
They're going to bang into each other all the way through. It's the other elements that are going to do that. So whoever got their knights in, most of the games.
My knights took out your Reaver, didn't they? Yeah, and that was what swung it. That's what made the big decision. Really.
Because then suddenly you got I then had to deal with your knights with only my.
You kept my warlord mostly shut down. But it didn't matter. I
couldn't take it out.
You couldn't. You couldn't take it out. So I just it was just there, stopping you scoring. The point, or you didn't have anything left really. You had your warlord to push forward to score points, but. The game needs to be bigger, but
I think when you get to,
I think the warhounds are going to make a difference.
Yeah, that's what's missing at the moment. I think when you've got 5 or 6 Titans on the table and a Knight Banner, it'll be fine. That'll be more than enough. I don't think you'll want to go much over 1750, 2000.
Well,
because it's going to get hard to manage with the space. You got, if you've got 5 Reavers, 5 Warhounds on the table, and you've got 5 sets of cards for them. Managing which Reaver which you're going to have to be really careful about making sure your terminals, because I realised when we got home, when you were shooting into my Warlord, I was looking at the Reaver's armour values.
Right.
So you were blasting holes, and it didn't make a massive difference in the end.
I didn't hurt your Warlord really, did I?
Yeah, but I was looking at the wrong tables and that was only with 2 cards. So it's going to take an element, the bookkeeping side of it when it gets bigger. You see people who've bought 5 or 6 Reavers and loads of white. You play a 4,000 point game of that. You're going to spend a lot of time.
I've seen a lot of probably the majority of people that show you, look what I've just bought pictures, and there's crazy amounts,
and you just think never going to. When both of us have sold the Warlords from our GM boxes now, because I'm at the point where unless you're going to do 2 Legios, I don't see you needing 2 Warlords.
I can see a lot of people starting with playing a couple of small games with just what they've done already, building everything, playing a couple of what are essentially APOC games, but needing other people to help them really when they realise how much, like you said, how much
I think that's
recording of data tracking and counters everywhere. I that's why I was very happy early on. This isn't a main game for me. This is going to be a pick up and play every now and then.
You can see why a 6 model game, which is essentially a 1750, 6 models on the table. They say it's going to take you 2.5, 3 hours. Mm-hmm. It's bookkeeping. It's a lot of stuff to do,
and stuff doesn't die particularly easy, especially your bigger.
And there's a lot of planning because your Warlord's moving very little.
Yeah. You're
thinking very carefully. It's going to play more like Battlefleet Gothic. There's a lot more planning.
Well, there's a lot of manoeuvring, and because there's not much on the table, you do find, that's it now. I want to move, but if I move that way, I'm not going to be able to. I'm not in arc to fire that weapon this turn. So there's a lot of that. I can't do anything this turn because he's facing the wrong way, and it's very easy to get out of position because you've not got targets spread across the table. You go, it doesn't matter where I face. I'm going to shoot something. It's very easy with low numbers.
Yeah. But that's going to make an interesting tactical
game.
It's
not a problem.
It's going to be.
It's not a problem at all. But it means I think it makes for a longer game than people might expect. How the war changed that, I don't know.
We were playing 500, 600, 700 points at the play day and taking an hour to play through that.
Yeah. I mean, you could do that really quick now. Now you've got used to, now you know the rules, but I don't see there's much replayability in the game at that level.
Yeah.
Like you said, whoever gets their knights in first is probably going to win.
Yeah.
If neither of you get your knights in and they both get taken off by the warlord, then it's a really boring game. Probably who is unlucky with their rolls and overheats.
That's basically
when
it's Warlord on Warlord. That's what it comes down to. Basically, is I haven't done a very good repair roll this time. I haven't got my shields up. Okay, I'm going to take a blasting now from Parabellic because a pair of Bellicosas can destroy a Warlord or cripple it in one go.
Yeah.
But when you've got the shields and the
you
shields
need a lot of events.
You need the shields to go down. You need to get a good strike in. You need them to not do well on the repair, so it can bog down a bit. So. Yeah, I've been thoroughly enjoying it. I need to get on and paint my wall. I've got a Reaver and 2 Warhounds left to do, and I just need to I want to sit down and batch paint them all when I finish my AOS.
Well, I finished my AOS now, so I really want to do that. Yeah, I want to get it done because it's nearly finished. I've got 10 shelves on my display cabinet, and 8 are now done, and got finished models on. But now I've got 1 extra model to do, or 2 for the Warhounds and 1 for AOS. Yeah. And that will. Did you bring it actually? No, he didn't. Oh, disgusting. Anyway, but that's all I've got to do.
I literally thought 5 minutes before I asked, let's go up and get that for Stu. Yeah, I'll drop it in.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. Anyway, but I want to get those 2 done. Because then it's me trying to clear army projects before the end of this year. Yeah. And then I've got some else to do. But I really enjoyed it. I'm happy to have a painted army. Nearly done on the shelf to play when I want to. I'm not going to over stress about it. I'm looking forward to extra expansions. As the game stands now, I love it, but I'm not excited to try and play every week because it doesn't feel like there would be enough difference.
I'm in agreement. I love AT. I think it's a brilliant game, but I think it is a specialist game.
I hope they get some weapons out soon. I think the game really needs it. More for the Warlords than anything else.
I mean,
you've got a little bit of change, but the Warlord is so one-dimensional.
I think a lot of people are quite happy to say, because you've got the cards, you can be quite clear. So, my left arm is a plasma and my right arm is a power fist. You can be very clear on the cards with it, which is fine. If you want to test the weapons out and have a go with them. Mm-hmm. But I think as wargamers, we like to have our models looking right, so we want the model for it.
I think I don't know what their plans are, and I would hazard a guess that will be fairly soon that we'll see a expansion for the Warlord. It would seem to make sense. If that, for example, didn't happen for 6 months, I can imagine that I would buy some parts and kit bash something, paint it,
and then by the time it comes out, you don't want it.
Maybe not. I don't think they'll do that, and I appreciate they've got a lot There's so much under that Forge World Specialist
But what's
Games
mad-
banner now that
Yeah.
they've got releases for lots of different systems, and they're trying to keep multiple different communities happy, and they've only got so many people and time to
it's
do
like
it.
what worries.
Difficult.
I've discussed it with a few people. I don't know if mentors are like my Cowdle came out. The gang Cowdle came out. I was like, yeah, I want them. Got the sprues. It's like some of the weapons aren't on there. They're going to be on the upgrade queues. And you have this debate: do I not build the models I want?
Yeah.
Because I've got to wait for the upgrade sprue, or do I convert them? And I've converted them because I want to build the models. I'm still yet to get that upgrade stuff from Forge World. That's 2-3 months after the gang came out. Yeah. It kills the momentum of the game.
It's a shame.
So with some of the discussion I've had with people about Necromunda is it's a fantastic game. The models are stunning, but I've waited a year for Cawdor. The people who want to play Delac have waited even longer. If you'd bought the core set when it came out, and your main gang had taken you another year to come out, and you don't want to play the
I bought the core set, and apart from take the cellophane off, and I did flick through the rules, and I read all the fluff in the book. I haven't done anything with it, because I knew I didn't want to run either of those gangs, and I just thought,
but not
I'll let it go until I feel ready to. And I really like the Venator gang rules from the White Dwarf, so that might make me do it. But again, it'll be it's a time thing.
But it's killed the momentum with Necromunda. There was a lot of excitement and stuff. If you've waited a year for it, your buzz has gone for it.
They've just Blood and Glory is happening this weekend, isn't it? And they did a seminar.
Yeah, previewed Delac, and they brought they're bringing 2 new books out.
Isn't one of the books with all of the rules in?
One's going to be the complete rule book.
Yeah,
and the other one's going to be
that's all the gang books. Is that okay? So is that the Gang Wars rules put in with the
So at the moment,
I've got I bought Gang. What is the Gang War 1 that came out unreleased?
There's
the original
rule
release
book and 4 Gang Wars at the moment.
Right.
At the moment, to play the game, you do need to take about 4 books with you because the rules for so much stuff is spread across it. And I think I talked about this in the last show. I've definitely been talking about it with Kurt. Like, you need these compendium books now. Yeah. Because the last time I played with Kurt, we had 5 books each on the table, and we were flicking through them constantly because he plays Orlocks. I played was my Goliath, but my Goliath. So there's a Goliath in the Gang War 1.
Yeah.
But they got an updated house list in book 3 where they got additional units and different. So I was when I was writing the gang out, because we were using the new skirmish rules where you get extra upgrades. So I was having to go to Gang War 1 for the base cost, then Gang War 3 to see the additional what weapons I could actually take and equipment I could take, and then into Gang War I think 3 or 4 to look at because that's where the quick reference for the skills were. So rather than me looking at the skills individually, so to plan my gang, I had to use 3 books.
Yeah, you know, so you're excited, but it's really difficult because without having not played the game, I can understand your frustration, but I don't feel it because I've not been playing it.
This way,
but then if they didn't release those things, would people be going, "Where's our stuff?" And it's really, I'm glad they're doing what they're going to do.
Yeah,
it might be perfect for when I drop in. So next year,
I would suggest to you now.
Yeah, I'm going to
wait and buy those 2 books if you want to get back in, because hopefully the Venator rules and everything will be in there as well.
I'm not going to army paint next year. I've talked about on the cast before. The plan is not to army paint in 2019. Personally, obviously not for. I want to say this now. I had a message from a client who was worried that I wasn't doing. When I say I'm not going to army paint next year, I'm talking about myself, not my work. I'm actually going to go fully full time from May next year because the wife's going to be off. So this becomes a nearly full-time job now, and it will be officially a full-time job. Anyway, back to I'm not going to be doing army paints because I want to be focusing on doing display level stuff. Yeah.
But 5 or 6 Venator models for a breakout.
And I need an excuse to buy the Rogue Trader stuff from Kill Team. Yeah. And the lovely shiny models that are in
from Blackstone
Fortress. Yeah. And what I can means I can pick those models
and you can kit
bash them and use them for a Venator gang. Yeah. So I can tick all the boxes I want to. So I can get these new beautiful 40k models, find a way to use them. Yeah. You never know, I might be able to use them in Kill Team if I want to play
justify the purchase of them.
And I'd love to have it multi-use. Yeah. So I can use them in Kill Team and in Necromunda. But that's my plan, to make it a bit of a cool modelling project. Get hold of some of those lovely models and then play Necromunda.
See, I know buy the books in one. Yeah, when we play, if we can get you to sit down to play, you'll enjoy Necromunda. Oh, I really will. And it's really good and it's so much fun. It's a brilliant game. But if I turn up to your house and say, right, You need all your 5 gang war books, Stu. You need 5 gang war books in a rule book, and you need to reference 3 of them to make your gang. Oh, and if you want to do Venators, you've got to go and find the PDF online and download that. Yeah. And actually, you've got to find the updated one now because I've updated it.
Have they?
Which is the one they put out publicly now. The White Dwarf one is no longer the current one, but they put it out in community as a free download. I think it's even on the GW web store now. You can get them. You can get it. But you need to... Yeah. You want to play Venator? Right, you need 5 gang war books and you need a PDF off the internet. It's not going to sell you the game. It could put someone off
who thinks they've got to buy multiple things. Yeah.
So the compendiums are going to be brilliant, and I will purchase the compendiums because it means I can put the gang. I've got the gang. I love the fact I've got all my rule books and the gang war books, and they're all there. Yeah. But when I go to the game, it's like the red books for Heresy. When Mechanicum players will sympathise a lot. I know Greg used to talk about the fact when he used to play as mechanic, he used to have to take 3 black books to the game store with him. And it's unreal.
They don't get much bigger than that, do they?
So when the red book for Mechanicum came out, it was like, oh, thank God, I can just take the 1 book with me. It makes life so much easier.
But it looks promising. It sounds like they've heard that. They've realised there is an issue.
I think it's always been the plan,
it's good
to be honest.
Because they can make the money as they sell. They've got to make money. I don't care about them making money. They
and
need
like
to.
You said, if they'd have dropped all 5 gang, we'd had the same issue we just talked about with Titanicus. If they'd have dropped all the rules at the start, and your Delac models aren't coming out for a year, by the time we get to the Delac models...
We see that in Heresy, don't we? How much do people moan about rules coming out? How long is it going to take for my
Siege
rule?
Tyrants. Nobody bought. Loads of people said, "I'm not buying Siege Tyrants because I've fucking made my own."
Whichever way they do it, they can't. They can't win. There's never a perfect way. So
but it's been good. I mean, I can't even remember where we were. We were on fucking Titanicus, and now we're in Necromunda.
Oh, there were some comparisons, weren't there? I think we're talking about. I was talking about releases. And,
my worry that they'll kill the community in AT by not getting stuff out promptly enough. I'm not saying I want it all now. Yeah. We've had the Warlords, the Reavers, the Warhounds over 3 months. Great, cool. That's been perfect. Now we need some upgrade. We need some more bits. We need some.
Well, let's hope the expansion isn't too far off. So we know that Titan Death, the novel, is out in December. So it won't be out before that because that will spoil the book. So that says to me that we're not going to see it till January. I hope that it doesn't get either buried in Black Book releases.
Yeah.
Or... I don't know what that said. You just showed me a message.
At your phone. I'm just trying to do this subtly. Fucking, this has all gone tits up.
You should,
right. What I was going to say.
What do I normally say when we're going to go for a break? I just do the timeout sign.
It's been 2 months. I can't remember. All I was going to say is let's finish off talking. All I've said is let's finish off talking about Titanic. We'll take a break before we go to list the messages.
Absolutely. Right. Can we finish saying what we were going to say?
Yes, and you go back to what you said.
I've forgotten what I was saying. I hope that its release is in a time that it gives the community another boost. I think sometimes we seem to get gaps with nothing, and then we get everything together.
Yeah.
Titanicus was released the same month as the new Middle Earth box. They've both done really, really well. Yeah.
It
just feels like maybe if they're a month apart.
But then we've not had a box set. Yeah, we've not had a big release from Forge.
And I know that there are different communities, but there are also people that play multiple systems as well, and it becomes quite hard to juggle. But I just really I feel that let's not pretend that Heresy isn't on a bit of a lull at the moment because of a slowdown in releases. A natural slow. I'm not worried about it myself. I think there's plenty out there.
It's actually quite nice to not think, oh shit, there's another thing I want to buy. There's another thing I want to buy.
They've got so much of the model range out there now, and it's naturally going to slow. What I would hoped that they always talk about getting a black book out. Maybe the surprise, and I'll get a black book out for Christmas. I don't. If I was going to bet any money, I'd say it's going to be the Weekender.
Well, we had a little discussion about a little rumor I heard, didn't we?
Well, we were trying to guess, weren't we? At the end of the day, but
this is proper horror stuff. Rumors around the trap set. We might get 2 black books next year, which we talked about might make sense to have a black book at Christmas, a Primark at the Weekender, and another black book at the tail end of next year. But that could work as a release schedule.
It'd be lovely.
It'd be lovely. I mean, that is proper like round the traps rumours. This is not confirmed by anybody. This is my unofficial sources that I'd like to say I have a 95% track record of being completely fucking off the mark with them, but, it makes sense. Mm-hmm. We've heard we know that a lot of that content had been written, planned. Yeah, they've got a bigger team right now. It was just Alan. We've now got Anuj and Neil, and we've got more people involved in the studio.
The poor lady that everyone always forgets the name of, who also writes.
Really bad about, but there is a team there to produce it. to produce 2 black books.
But they are producing other stuff as well. They're writing the 40k rules and stuff as well.
As far as the Syraxis and the Custodes book that were talked about for 40k, we haven't seen a hide nor hair of them.
But they would have just written all the rules for the updates for the York Codex and stuff.
Yeah.
So they are doing stuff that we don't always fall into.
Sorry,
the
what I was trying to say is it's not unreasonable to think they could produce 2 black books within a 12-month period, considering that they would have been starting on. There would have been work done to the sections of Angelus that were originally going to be in the book that we were originally going to
We had chatter a couple of months back that it's done. It's on its layout stage now. It's all written. It's been laid out.
So there's no reason that the work on Malevolence could have started.
It could have been signed off already.
Yeah.
We don't know.
We don't know.
My main hope is that if there isn't a black book in December, does anyone know? I say that in the room with just 2 people, but does anyone know, listeners included, whether they've said that they've already written the Titan Death expansion? Is it ready to go? Is it still being worked on?
Andy was on the stream the other day talking about the state of an update on Titanicus, and I wasn't really watching it. I didn't watch all of it because I was going out. But I'm sure the impression I got is Titan Death is pretty much done. That's ready. It's good to go, or is at least in its final stages of production.
Yeah.
And we will see Titan Death soon.
I'm sure they've got.
Do we know anything about the weekend of this year?
No, nothing I know about yet.
Could it?
Would
it be an AT Necromunda Horus Heresy?
I imagine it will be.
Where we'll get Titan Death then.
Very possibly.
So a Black Book at Christmas, a Primarch and Titan Death.
Well, we're making.
You could see those things, but you could see those things slotting in.
I think the point I'm trying to get it to is really that I think the heresy community, which includes under the wider umbrella AT, could do with everything not just landing in February.
Yeah, we could do.
If one of them's ready, maybe
let's get something in December.
The community needs a bit of a boost. It's a bit depressed at the moment.
Let's
it needs
get
a bit
Christmas
of some of the
out.
Comments you see on other systems because they dare release a model. Some of the comments are a little bit
salty.
Should we say so childish to say the least? And it. Well,
there's some
it makes our community look.
It makes the Iron Warriors.
And I'm not
like
talking about pricing-based ones because I understand that point of view.
But when SVG, who have spent years in the wilderness, not getting any love, are getting models and they're excited to sit there and say
it's really snotty comments. No one plays this game. Well, actually, a lot of people do.
There's 6,000 people in the
biggest group and
the British Hobbit League, and they regularly put 60, 70 people events, 50, 60 people events together.
Bigger events on than there is. It looks fairly comparable. Yeah. Who knows sales-wise how it works, but I'd be surprised.
They're putting
if
90 people on at the Throne of Skulls for Hobbit because they put extra tickets on because there was more demand.
Yeah.
They're a good community. At
least in the UK. I don't know about the rest of the world, so that might be where it changes a little bit. So I think in the UK they're probably similar size communities, but we're guessing.
Yeah.
But the point is they got.
It doesn't make our community look good when Forge World are producing stuff and it's the Heresy players being salty about.
Produced by people who aren't paid to produce Heresy stuff.
Yeah.
So them releasing something for Middle Earth from a dedicated team who don't do anything with Heresy.
They're like,
especially
this
is
what we've been working on for 6 months.
It's not like the books where the books are often laid out and finished by the same members of the wider Forge World team.
Yeah.
The miniatures, they're going to be designed by Keith Robinson or something like that. For his middle. They're designed by people specifically for that team.
Yeah.
So only when it comes to the kind of the guys laying out the rule books and making sure on the proofreaders and stuff, that's where a lot of the overlap is. So they're not slowing your releases down for other things. There's just a plan as a business.
We talked about this about the earlier in the year about the whirling fucking neckbeards and the way we portray ourselves as a community. You know.
Well, we can all do it, and I'm sure we've done it on the podcast as well. So I don't want to really get anyone's shit too much about it, but it's just a bit
that Corn
disappointing.
Dragon that they've just dropped out that they've been working on for years is fucking insane, and the paint job Pedro's done on it is unbelievable. Some of the SPG stuff that's been coming out is stunning.
Yeah.
The Necromunda stuff is amazing. We've got Titanicus. There's something. I want more Heresy. I love Heresy, and that's what I want to see, but. I think we got spoilt. We had a spoilt period where every Friday there were Heresy releases
because they didn't have many other things to focus on. So, but the team was smaller then.
But you look at 40k and AOS from GW Prime. Mm-hmm. There's not a 40k release every week.
No,
they split between AOS and 40k. They support both game systems.
Well, and then
all the other
worlds
all the other stuff that comes out. if you're a 40k player and that's it, there might be a month where all you get is maybe an odd release or two.
I think the perception is there is more because everything falls under the two big IPs, so the 40k or the AOS IP. Yeah. So you've got this Blackstone release coming up,
player who's got nothing.
But there'll be stats for the 40k with all those models, so they kind of tick in double boxes, aren't they?
Like when the Underworld stuff comes out, and they usually get a AOS that will scroll with it.
Yes.
But if you're not, but again, there's more factions in that. So like if you're an Eldar player, a 40k Eldar player, you haven't had a release for a year.
And if you're a Sisters of Battle player,
you're probably a pervert. But but yeah,
you are now, but you weren't when you first bought the models.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean. Okay, it's just perception, isn't it? It's don't be a whirling neckbeard. My mum always says, if you ain't got something nice to say, don't fucking say it. And that's not to say don't give feedback. Don't not pull your punches with Forgeworld. Like you said with the pricing stuff, it's quite absolutely right to be outraged by it. But just going and screaming in internet comments in all caps about.
Where's my house?
What's that going to make us look? If you go, if you're genuinely worried about the rate of production you're waiting for, send a nice email. Hi guys, you previewed this model 3 months ago. We were under the impression that we get stuff in there. Are we likely to see this soon? I'm really looking forward to getting
Don't expect an answer about when it's going to release. You won't get that,
no.
But you were reminding them that you are that information, a bit concerned.
I mean, I deal with customer relations all the time. I've done it for many, many years, as you've done, and I know for a fact. If somebody screams and shouts and swears at me, I ignore them. You're done. I've got no respect for you anymore. I'm done with you. I will just deal with your issue, and you'll get minimum service at me because you're a wanker.
Well, you see that from which comments they reply to.
If you come in and make a genuine point, I'm not happy with this. I'm not pleased with the way this has been done. This is and you talk to me in a sensible way, I will do more to sort things for you because I think he's a nice bloke and I want to sort that for him. I like him. He's a nice guy. A nice person. So. It's just betrayals, but I'm probably going to get a load of flack on the internet for that, but I don't really give a fuck anymore. So I think that has probably meandered to a nice roundabout closing point. So let's round it out there, and we're going to take a short break.
Geno52 is sponsored by Incom Gaming, the new centre for tabletop wargaming in Gloucestershire. Visit incomgaming.co.uk for great savings on pre-orders and all your hobby needs. We stock many gaming systems and hobby accessories and can ship to anywhere in the UK. Incom Gaming is the only UK stockists of the market-leading gaming mats from GameMats.eu. Visit the store and check out how to turn your tabletop into a battlefield. Incom Gaming is based in the centre of Cheltenham and offers tables and scenery for casual and organised play with a fully licensed bar. Check out our events page for upcoming events where everyone is welcome. Save an additional 10% on Games Workshop Heresy products by using the code GENO52 at the checkout. Visit incomgaming.co.uk and help fight the betrayal. Incom Gaming. Come game, shop, drink. To shop elsewhere is heresy.
Right, that was our really subtly and smoothly edited in break there. It really worked well, that didn't it? So we got some listener messages. First one is from Jacob. Hi Guy, hopes all's well. Thoroughly enjoyed the last show, even if it has had me debating getting into AT. Good, that's what we want to do. I've got two questions. One if you could help with, one personal and one podcast tactic. One question. So his personal question is, how do you like the Locataris Storm Squad? I think we covered that. Yep. So we'll leave that, even
though he's probably died while waiting for you
he's probably given up and burnt them and everything. But yeah, hopefully, Jacob, if you got any questions following what we talked about, shoot me a message on the show.
We are literally blowing not literally, figuratively, blowing the dust off these questions.
They're on the computer.
Figuratively blowing.
It's not dust. I'm literally blowing off my computer.
This first question from Jacob has been in the show notes right from the first time we planned to record the show, isn't it?
Which was when I built the lockers.
And then there's been a lot we've deleted because we've just had to reply to people directly and say,
sorry, look, you're not going to get
They were time-bound kind of questions. What should I take to this event kind of stuff?
But the general question, then, we'll hit that one. Do you need a Lord of War to be competitive, in quotation marks, and competitive in the terms of, like we talk about, it's not really being competitive, it's being able to play 4 or 5 turns of a game and being involved in it?
Well, the answer, according to Anuj, is yes.
Yeah. I'm not a massive fan of running Primarchs with a fluff perspective. I've never liked the idea of super aims at below 3.5 to 4K. So this is a discussion I've been having with Mr. Henry, talking to Tom about this. I'm really not a fan of putting a Lord of War in at 2.5, 3K now. I just find they suck points. Or if I do, there's only one or two options as to what I want to put in because they're the most points. Like my Porphyron, I will put the Porphyron in because it's fucking good for its points. But it has to be, it's 500 points. If you're talking a 2.5K list, it's a fifth of your army in one model. When we talked about, realistically, you would never take a super heavy over a Primarch. It's the monstrous creature walker issue.
Yeah.
Having a toughness value is so much better than an armor value.
Yeah.
So if you're being... I'm literally talking hard-nosed gaming now.
Yeah, no, you're right.
You're going to take a Primarch. But if you take a Primarch, you need a boyfriend squad. Because every Primarch fight comes down to the boyfriends. Every single one. Who kills the boyfriends first? Because most Primarchs will knock the seven bells of shit out of each other fairly levelly. There are some at the extreme ends. Yeah, and Magnus. But the majority in the middle...
both extremes.
Yeah, most in the middle will bounce. Will have fair level. You know, Guilliman can take Horus one-on-one. There is
or
levels.
they have something they can do to get out of that
what
fight.
swings you that game, that fight, is generally, I've killed all your boyfriends, now all my boyfriends are fighting into you as well, and you'll take the way of dice will then start to show. So you say, okay, so I've got 500 points in a Primarch, 400 points in a Primarch, and 400 points in a bodyguard squad, and maybe a chaplain and some support characters, and then I've got to put a transport in. I've got 1,000 points in that Death Star.
Yeah.
So I've got 1,000 points. So 3K, a third of my army is in one thing that has to perform. If you're talking in total games terms, multiple single units, that is the most efficient, way for me.
Yeah.
So I struggle unless I really want to play those big models. If I'm talking, I want to play a tough game, I want to create a tough list. I'm not looking at Lords of War at the moment. I really don't see the point in them. I struggle. I love them. I love a big model on the table, a massive centerpiece model or a primer. I love them.
And that's the reason we see them lots.
Yeah, I love them.
Want the excuse to play them, and they should do. That should be what people do.
So this question about, can I give my opponent a good game? Yeah, you can. What you have, if you don't need one, if you have one, you need to be very sensitive about your list both ways. My big downfall with list building is I tend to get sucked into putting too many points into too few things. I get, like, my Legion of Peterborough list was a bit sucky because I got nearly 1,000 points tied up with the Locataris. I then got a couple of hundred points tied up in a Master of Signals in a Damocles with a Plasma Support Squad, and I got lots of things tied up in small bits, and
that's
too many points.
Just the nature of list building. How buffs, naturally by adding a buff to a unit, you're adding, and if you've got a buff on a buff like you've done in your Death Star units, they're naturally going to be expensive.
It was the list I wanted to take. It was just the fun
risk
shit
versus reward on that.
The basic premise of my Legion of Peterborough list was I can take 4 HQs because my Master of Signals can take a Damocles as a dedicated transport because I'm an Ultramarine. Let's do that. Let's have a Google with that. I don't think you need... Primarchs, again, I love playing with the Primarch. It hasn't actually been out the cupboard for a year because I've not been running special characters this year.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to getting out and playing him again. But I find the Primarch Death Star leads you to playing one type of game all the time.
It does, yeah.
And it's swinging one way. I remember the first time I played Callum, I ran into him Ruination, and he had nothing that could stop my Death Star list. And the game was just feeding stuff into Guilliman.
Yeah.
It was a good fight. We had an enjoyable game because we had a laugh, and he wanted to fight. He wanted to see if Corferon could fight Guilliman, and it was like, no, not with rag grenades and all the other shit I've got. I think Corferon was toughness too.
They could have done it anyway, even without all of that.
Yeah. But he got smashed to pieces. But
yeah,
you have to be balanced both ways with that list. You can take, if you take a Lord of War and stuff, it can be very swingy and make people unenjoyable. You can be too good in the game. You can also build a sucky list with a Porphyron in it if you just don't build around it. I don't think you have to. It all comes down to what are you and your opponent playing. If your opponent is bringing all infantry and you turn up with a glaive, ain't going to have a fun game. On the same hand, if I turn up with all infantry and it could just go either way. If I turn up with all infantry and you've got a knight household, I'm going to be a fucking sucky game for anyway. So it's always about that. It's personally at the moment I'm not using Lords of War, but that's mainly because I've used a lot of them. I've done it a lot.
I think you're right on the whole. I think, I made a joke there about Anuj. It was a comment he made when someone asked about competitive games, and he wasn't about Lord of Wars, it was about Primarchs. I think the question was very much a 2-5 list. If you want to be competitive, do you need a Primarch?
Well, what was the best Primarch to take at 2-5?
Oh, something like that. And I think there was a follow-up part of it. Do you need to take one? And Anuj, but I think he said, basically yes, to paraphrase. And I think that's right as well. If you're looking at being competitive
take a Primarch every time.
At 2-5, if you look at the 2-5 meta, that there is, and I think it's fairly similar global. If you're looking at a hard list, I think generally you will find most people take a Primarch, because if you're playing in those 2-5 games and you don't take a Primarch,
and somebody does turn up with one, you're going to have a bad day.
You're going to really struggle. I think the only way there's lots of ways to combat it, but I think that it's the easiest way to make the list competitive, and you have to know. You have to be really, really good to think of a really clever counter that will come up against multiple different legions with different Primarchs and how it will work. You might have a counter for one, which doesn't have a Primarch, but it might not work against someone else because they all work in such different ways. So you might have a counter for Lorgar. Yeah. Lots of things, probably.
Just show him his library card and he'll fall over.
Exactly. But for Magnus, you need a completely different set of tools to deal with it. Yeah, so I think in general, yes.
The tool you need for that is your army case to put it back in the box and go away.
Pretty much. But when it comes to other Lord of Wars, you're right. There's lots of ways around it. Yeah. There's ways of shutting them down, isn't there?
The amount of times I've played a glaive or a Fellblade and my Venator has just... how many times have we played and you've brought your Beyblade and it's done?
You get first turn and you shut it down and that's it. And he doesn't get to do...
It doesn't get to do anything. And my 200-point Venator has effectively as good as destroyed a 500 point section. You're allowing the rest of my army, where I've got more points of it, to do what I need it to
do. They cost a lot of points because their potential output, but they are, regardless of the number of hull points and etc. There are multiple things that in the game that can deal with them at range. And it's a lot harder to deal with. It's easy to hide a Primarch somewhere or put it in.
Well, you can put a Primarch within a tank, within an extra bubble wrap, within ablative wounds, and you can do that. So
if you want to play competitive sort of 2-5, 3K level, yes. If you're not playing that, then just play lots of different shit.
Just play what. Don't play it. Just play for fun and talk to your opponent. What do you want to play? The amount of times we've talked quite a couple of times at the club are going, let's not bring Lords of War to this. Let's play 2-5, no Lords of War. Just let's play something different. I was going to play Dunk at the club with my mech. It never came off in the end because of just timing. But I said to him, I haven't run my Porphyron since Greetings. I want to bring it out. And I know he's a good player. And I know he can bring some tough shit. And I said, I want to bring that. I want to bring my tough shit list. And he was like, yeah, cool. We haven't done that for ages. Let's kick the 7 barrels of crap out of each other. Yeah. And you can work with that.
And if you're able to, if you're going to an event, maybe try, if the event's run before, try and have a little look at the history of the event. Because different events have their own meta. So you tend to see, and I hope I don't upset many people by saying this, but I think you tend to see maybe some stronger lists at the Company of Legends events historically. Maybe at some of Greg's events or the things that some of the guys at Warhammer World, those events, you hear this, you see the list that some of those things, like they're different to some of the lists you may see at Tarssis. But Tarssis, you most have one really, really heavy list and one a lot weaker. There's a wider spread, maybe. So just do a little bit of research on what kind of lists you tend to see there, and then maybe try and match your list to that sort of sub-meta.
With the events, it does come down to Tarssis. We've done some very interesting things with force composition to push people away from the quote-unquote meta lists,
But there's also been very tough lists brought. So I don't want anyone to think, they say Tarssis has got all weak lists, because he's clearly not. No, there's definitely lists that people would look at in an isolation and go, bloody hell, that looks a bit... Yeah. I'm not saying that. I'm not calling out these events, but I think different events that have been running a while definitely have a different kind of culture to them.
Yeah, when I went up to Company of Legends, I was glad I'd taken the Mechanicum up there. Yeah. They were able to swing up there. We talked about this before, the Blood and Glory Ruination problem. I took the wrong list to the
So
wrong
each one,
events.
yeah.
You know, I rolled through everybody at Ruination because it's brought a really tough list, and then deliberately took a weak list to Blood and Glory. Again, played armies that would have been better suited against my tougher list.
Yeah.
You know, so
Exactly. And to be clear, I'm not saying either of the thing is wrong.
no, it was just that I've talked about I pitched my army wrong for the events, you know, and that's fine because I was the one who'd made the pitch wrong rather than it wasn't the event that had done it. I just no event organizer will tell you need to rethink about your list. As long as it's legal, most event illegal and not clearly dickish, most event organisers will go, it's cool if that's what you want to bring.
And this is the inherent problem of a system we have where there isn't really a heresy competitive scene.
Yeah.
So it becomes very, very hard to sort of balance across it. But anyway, I think we could probably...
move on from there.
Move on.
Shane, then. Do you want to do Shane's first?
Right, so I have a question for you all. Oh, is that Alan as well? Is he here?
Tell you what, Alan is fucking shit with rules, mate.
He's shit with life, mate.
You have both your ear canals removed. You're having a shit time.
How would you guys represent Thunder Warriors army rules? I've been inspired by your alternative army spotlight. More coming on that in the next episode. However, I don't think I've pinned them down yet, and I have a couple of ideas. So, plus toughness, strength, Black Shield, Chimera, Marauders, Survivors of the Dark Age, Ogryns, All World Eaters, Tartarus Terminators. I would probably default to the militia list because you're probably going to get less questioning and pushback from others about what you're representing.
I
Maybe
also think we're going down Black Shields. I don't know.
you could do a Black Shields.
Black Shields might work. It's more about using the context of the rules, really. I think militia you might struggle with because you've not got. I've just been talking to Liam for the last 3 days about how to make his squats army list using militia.
Yeah. I saw he's posted a picture today. Oh, very nice. Very nice. It's going to take him a fucking while to green stuff all those beards.
Oh, he's got the fucking beards to green stuff. It's going to be beautiful. He's so. We've sort of worked his list together, and he's quite turgid for heresy, and
I hope he does it. I hope because it's one of those projects
I know how many infantry he's got to done.
Yeah,
and he's going to be buying stocks in green stuff if he's going to. He said to me,
I hope he's got time to do it because it's one of those things you see people. What a fantastic idea! But
I keep telling him if you pull that off, it will be one of the best.
Alongside the other work and stuff he does as well. I really hope he does.
It'd be stunning. It'd be absolutely stunning. But he was looking at the squat that came out for Necromunda, and he's got a padded jacket, and he said, "Do you think this one looks right with just the beard?" He said, I can't green stuff all the padding. I was like, no, it's fine, mate. I look spot on. Anyway, that's not what we're supposed to be talking about. We're talking about Thunder Warriors. I probably would go Black Shields Chimera. I think because it's an Astartes force, the weaponry's right. You're not going to be fudging. They've got bolt guns, Thunder Warriors, and chainsaws.
Yeah, they wouldn't have been as good. So do you take the
you take the Prior Bolters?
Yeah, exactly.
You take Prior Bolters. You take Prior Power Armor. You take Chimera. I think I think you'll find it a more logical construction.
Yeah,
that,
now you're
rather
saying
than
it,
going into the militia list.
I think I defaulted to gene crafted, and then you've got multiple secondary options that would make sense.
I think prior to the Black Shields list, you'd have been absolutely right. But I think you're probably going down the Black Shields Chimera will make the army more readily understandable for people because you'll be able to say, look, these guys have got Prior bolt guns.
Yeah,
it's a bolt gun. It's a Space Marine with a bolt gun.
Yeah, I think you're right. Actually,
it would make more
really
sense.
Good.
So, yeah. As always, then, guys, you can email us. You can Facebook us.
We'll fucking ignore them because we won't take another 2 months before we record, and it'll all be irrelevant. We'll have to delete it from the method.
What I'll generally be doing is going, I'm really busy at work. Stu's just sat at home. He can fucking answer them. And then you think, no, he's painting 8 hours a day. He's even fucking busier than I am. So, so you message us. We do genuinely reply. And me and Stu generally have a fair idea of when we're going to record. And if it's an answer we can that needs to be done sooner, we'll reply straight away usually and deal with that because it's
or prod the other person. So if it's a kind of just if you have Facebook, don't message us on Instagram because it's so
terrible. It
so easy to not know you've got a new message.
It doesn't give you notifications. Facebook's better. If you haven't got any,
please. That's not saying don't message on Instagram,
but there's a higher chance we'll miss your message on Instagram,
especially if the wrong person reads it. So if it's
a
question about Ultramarines that right, I've read it, and you can't make it unread again.
And you have to go. You then
I then have to
make an
message
effort
you
to
and say,
message me,
Tom, read that, and then if you're busy at work, and then you forget, and then you might think we've
Whereas
ignored
if
you.
on Facebook, it doesn't.
It doesn't really disappear.
It doesn't
you can
disappear.
See it
we can see it, and it's better there. So, or email as well, or that's about it. We ever do. So drop us an email. I think all the contact details are usually on the show post, aren't they?
They are,
and on the show notes. So cool. We're going to take a little break then.
Has your performance been letting you down recently? Have your bombs been jettisoned before your mission was complete? Do you find yourself accidentally rolling too early? Has your bag dropped its load before the game? Then Grayed Out Productions have the answer. Michael's handcrafted dice bags are a must-have for any tabletop gamer prone to spilling their pearlescent gaming A's before they're ready. Why not check out Grayed Out Dice Bags on Facebook, at their website at www.gradeoutproductions.com, or find them on Etsy. Grayed Out Productions are the only place where you can get the official Geno52 podcast dice bag, and Geno listeners can get 10% discount by entering Geno52, all in words, at the checkout in the Etsy store. Get control of your load today.
Welcome back then, guys. We thought we'd have a little chat about Tarssis. We've talked about it a lot, but we want to talk about the series in general. It's come to an end now. We've played the last games out. 2 massive 4K games. Real relaxed day.
Yeah, the most
world.
relaxed we've had out of.
Yeah. So it was really good, and we just wanted to cover, what did I work out? The 960 games that have been played on Tarssis 4 over the course of 2 years. And was it 6 events? The little one, the first big one, the first weekender, the doubles, this year's weekender, and the last one.
It'd be a lot easier to count if they weren't all called Tarssis 4, wouldn't it?
They were not. They were never meant to be. They were meant to be Tarssis 4, Tarssis 3, Tarssis 2, Tarssis Primary. That was literally the original plan. We'd fight on a different planet every time.
I like winding you up about it.
I don't know why. I just wrote the event pack. Went, no, it's Tarssis 4. No, that's not what I meant. So yeah,
it makes sense from a story point of view, but when you look at it as an event,
was really interesting.
Like, is this the fourth one?
It was really interesting to actually build a story over 2 years, 6 events, creating it so that we could play lots of different formats. We started off at 1,500 points with 10 local players.
Yep.
We then had 20 players, which is when the Sons of Heresy first arrived, for a one-dayer, which was 2,500 points. And the original intention behind those points level were, Calth had just dropped, we wanted to get the local players playing, so we said 1,500 points, it's about a Calth box, let's do that. And then 2.5 was like, right, we had about 6 months between then and right now, you got time to build up to 2.5. That was the first 2, and then we played a 2,500 point weekender where we had ZM for the first time, didn't we? The first weekender, we had the ZM tables, so there was ZM elements brought in. Then we had the Centurion doubles, and then we had a 2,500, 3,000 point and 1,500 point ZM weekender, and we had a 4K event, or 3.5 4K event. And to be able to build a story and a narrative arc over that, and create, to be able to work in all these different, why are we now playing 1,000 point Centurion doubles when the last event was a big warfare thing, and how does that work narratively? It kind of basically, the overall narrative was everybody landed on the planet, we fought our way to the tertiary hive, which I still can't pronounce the name of. You've said it more times than me. Nervia Glavensium. Yeah. Which, if anybody knows Pidgin Latin, that's New Gloucester. Basically.
Gloucester.
Then the hive collapsed, so we were left with decimated forces. Then we broke out to Morgood Prime, the starport to escape the planet from. Everyone got fucked over at Morgood Prime because the loyalists who successfully defended Morgood Prime got abandoned by their allies and left to defend. And the last event was basically kicking the Seven Barrels of shit out of each other on a dead planet. Yeah. Which the loyalists won a Pyrrhic victory because they beat the traitors in and are stuck on a dead planet. Well done, guys. So it's been really interesting. It's been a huge learning curve for the two of us, I think, from that first weekender where we had things like, oh fuck, we've messed up the matchups and we hadn't organised that, and we developed such a quite a slick, almost to the point now when we ran this last event and it felt lazy. because we weren't working hard.
We didn't need to do it.
But
Because it was 2 rounds.
But there was also so much we already knew and that we could do. I didn't need to think about certain things because we already knew we could cope with them. Like when we did the presentations at the end, we just, instead of talking about how we did it, I wrote my notes out and we just lay the stuff out how you knew we need it and how we do it.
There's habit. There's habit there, and then I suppose a lot of the planning for the later events was you had the format that you did for the last event for the packs. So you're copying and pasting stuff.
A lot of the core stuff was there, yeah.
And I think the last 2 events it was a slightly different layout for the missions each time, but at least with the same for the second time round.
But they were developed off the sheets that we got before, and we built, so it was all evolved.
There's been a kind of natural progression,
and
I suppose a natural progression with the growth and what's been hot, shall we say, within the heresy community at the time. So with the first event, which was a local one, 1,500 points, which we both played in, as well as you were running it. I wasn't at all running it at all of them. But we both played in, was very much where a lot of the heresy community, this was not long after Cal, this was the kind of the big sort of surge of new players.
Yeah, everyone's jumping in.
People jumping in, and it kind of grew with that. So when we added ZM in, it was around the time there was a lot of talk about ZM, a lot of the community playing ZM.
Yeah.
The tagged events, cardboard rules had just come out, so people were buying them and getting, and other people were using the Mega Blocks type system.
It was becoming accessible to play it.
Lots of people were talking about it, and it was the same kind of theme across a lot of the different podcasts. People talking about playing ZM games and how to do it, and then we see the growth of Centurion.
Yeah.
What Tim did with that sort of
set.
Basic rule set really is
it's created almost a game within itself.
And we know that's played in it's
all around the world.
It's played all around, including the head office of the guys.
Well, that's how we got the studio team down to Tarssis. Will came down because he loves Centurion, and there was an event he could come and play because he likes his infantry heavy Night Lords, and I know he's one who says he suffers in big games because he likes to run lots of infantry and templates take him out. So Centurion really suits the way he likes to play. So he was like, I'm coming down to play that, and he made there were comments were made. This is what we like to play at the studio because it's a great. It plays the way we want. The way we like to play stuff.
Yeah, I suppose a lot of the people at this last event had been to. So how many people did we have? We had 36 in it.
I worked this out.
No, I mean at the last event.
36 at the last event.
So I'm sure if it was 36, then at least 30 of them have been to at least one Tarssis before.
How many people did we have at the first weekender? 20. Were we upstairs then as well?
I can't remember. Honestly, can't remember.
I think it was 36 at that one as well. Because I think.
But thinking of the last event anyway, that I think out of those 36 people, 30 people at least have been to one previous Tarssis event, and probably 20 of those have been to 3, maybe
3 plus. Yeah, and they knew our system. They know how we. I mean, the Worcester boys like Ben. I think Ben's been to every one bar the first one. You know, they know the drill.
What I mean is the game style. So these are bigger games than the last one, and it's almost grown with those players' armies and collections. Mm-hmm. So the reason there's these big 4K games at the end was because the people that maybe didn't have that size a couple of years ago have got this collection now. Many people have got 2 or 3 armies now, where they wouldn't have when they attended their first.
Well, I mean,
Tarssis.
one of the reasons when we set up the calendar for this year was to create 3 different events. There's a 1,000-point Centurion doubles event for people who wanted to play that. There was a 2,500 point sort of fairly standard Age of Darkness game, and then big games for people to get big toys out.
We've covered everything.
We deliberately designed it to cover everything, but it's been a real. I mean, there's stuff that's gone wrong, and
nothing big though.
Nothing big, but apart from overselling an event by twice as much.
Yeah,
and having almost having a nervous breakdown because we got 60. Do you know what? We've talked about this before about how the events have been different. Like the weekender was great. It was like hanging out with mates all weekend, but I definitely felt like I was running an event. Mm-hmm. The 2-day, the last event that we ran, the big 2-gamer. Didn't feel like running an event because there wasn't a lot. We had 4 hours where we just stood around going, "Cool."
It would have been the
games.
best out of all of the events for us two to sit there and get hammered, and we probably drunk the least that we drunk out of anyone. But I screwed my back up 2 days beforehand, so those people that were there and I didn't speak to, looked like I shit myself. I screwed my back up, so I was on painkillers, and I think I had 1 beer all day.
I drank. I
couldn't even go out in the evening.
Yeah.
And then, but you had a few, but not as many as we had in previous events.
Yeah. But then you compare that with what the doubles was like, which was like the most insane thing I've ever done.
It was just hectic.
It was hectic. I loved it. I absolutely adored it. but it was so hectic.
That many people across 2 floors.
Two floors and people, and actually one of the downsides, like one of the great things about the Weekender, it felt like I got to hang out with everybody all weekend.
Yeah.
The doubles was like I was there to run the event.
Yeah, there's so many people that were there that I didn't even
get to speak to. But it's been great. I mean, it's been a hell of an experience for me to run it and you to run it. And like I say, I mean, I might be I've said it before, I might be the front end that's got the microphone and yelling, but without yourself, people like Rob Dunk, Rob Ing, Carl, even the locals, Kurt and James, and
helping lift boards in the morning this time because I couldn't.
Ryan and stuff who have done the nuts and bolts in the background. There is probably a crew of 5 to 10 people that make these events happen. Chip at Incom, it wouldn't happen without the place there, and Dale for being the worst barman and shop staff in the world.
Well, if you want to get served, you mean?
Yeah. If you want to talk about the heresy, talk about game systems.
No, don't talk about heresy.
Bolt action. Talk about bolt action. He's great, but you won't be able to buy anything or get a drink from him. But it's there's a huge crew. And I mean, the planning. It feels like the planning. There wasn't a lot of planning for this last event, but that's because I've been planning this event for years.
Yeah.
I've basically one of the reasons we haven't announced what we're going to do next year, and I haven't made public, is I'm having a break. For basically 2.5 years, I've run events. I've just been on. I've either had the event on, been planning the next one, selling tickets, managing the players in the run up,
and finishing with 3 in a year as well.
Yeah, 3 in this year has been. I've not stopped. I mean, the tickets for the last event went on sale a week after the weekend event.
Yeah,
I had a week, and even then, I'm thinking, shit, I've got to make sure the event pack's out. I've got to make sure the information's out. I've got to get everything out. I was writing the event pack for the final event before the weekender had happened because I hadn't got the time to not do it. I just need a break, mainly to refresh my ideas.
Yeah,
I've killed Tarssis. We've killed Tarssis. Now what we're going to do, and I've got some vague ideas. I've been talking with Carl about how we're going to expand into a subsystem now, and it's going to be a different style. I've been talking with Dan and I've been talking with Sam about how I want to open the Weekender up. The Weekend's the event I've got in my mind. That's the only event I've got in my mind at the moment is the Weekend, because that's where I've got ideas for at the moment. Now I'm looking at ways of opening that up so it's not just the 36 people who get tickets for the weekend are there. We're looking at running multiple events over the course of a weekend, subdividing the space, running a weekend narrative in a traditional style, a Saturday event, a Sunday event, possibly 2 Saturdays and 2 Sunday events.
There's lots of ideas.
Yeah, there's lots of ideas about how we do it. But at the moment, my brain is so fuzzed from,
they are just ideas.
They're just ideas, and I want to sit down in the new year, and there's lots of practical issues about, okay, well, if I'm going to do that, if I open up to say now I've got 50 people coming through the weekend.
Some people maybe just on one day.
That's 50 sets of people.
Got to make sure
manage.
the right number overlap to run the bigger thing,
Yeah.
but not too many, so you end up with too many at one point as well. So
there's a lot more logistics, and in terms of, I will need to run the event rather than run
the individual.
Individuals.
So you need more people.
So I need more people. I need people.
We've got
two
them,
people up, and we're talking to people, and we're looking. I'm chatting to other people in the heresy scene, the heresy event scene, about collaborating and working together on stuff and doing more things, And it's the idea is, opening up the Geno event to as many people who want it, because there's a lot of people who say, I'd love to come for the weekend, or it sounds great, but I couldn't get there till lunchtime on Saturday. I'd love to be there on the Saturday night when you do the Heresy Curry Club.
Yeah.
But I couldn't get there in the morning. Well, come down Saturday lunchtime, come down Saturday evening, have curry, and play in the Sunday ZM event or whatever it is.
Exactly.
And cool. And some people might say, I can only get a Saturday. I have to work Sundays. Well, cool, come play Saturday. And some people say, I'm here for the weekend. I'm full blown Tarssis. I'm gonna do the full weekend narrative, or I'm actually gonna do the Saturday and the Sunday events because I kind of fancy playing that game on Saturday and that game on Sunday. So we want to look at opening up the options.
There's lots of things we'd like to do with space. I mean, and in terms of our own involvement, I might not be able to be there for the whole thing.
Only because you want to go and win Golden Demons.
Well, we don't know if it's going to clash with that
Yeah.
that weekend. But
yes.
if it does clash with the Forge World Open Day again, I will probably go to the Forge World Open Day on the Sunday. But
the nice thing is to be able to say, you can do that.
And I've got those who aren't on our Facebook group. I don't know if people know this actually. There's only people that are friends with me on Facebook. So our second baby's on the way and will be due in ours, not mine and Tom's. We've just passed the screening process and we've been allowed.
That's where the 2-month break's been for. Or Stu's been trying to extricate himself from the back of me.
I was going to make an even worse joke, but you kind of luckily you've
I managed to get in there first.
you filled that gap. Right. So so from due early April, so I might not be as free to be available. I don't know yet. It's kind of up in the air. So by having more multiple events that maybe other people come along and run them, you're less reliant. You don't need me to definitely be there for the whole weekend as well, which helps. Hell, I might even just come down and help judge the painting over the weekend and then pop in on the Friday evening and play some games rather than actually just be there. I don't know what it will look like yet, but I'll definitely be involved in terms of the back end.
Yeah.
Even if I'm not really there, I'll be involved in the proofreading and the kind of doing some audio stuff for it and that kind of stuff.
I always say, on the day, sometimes you're not always the most active person in the crew of the day.
But data entry and...
the difference is, though...
Just give you a microphone and you're all right.
I'm well away.
Talk to people.
But we all know from if you came to the Titanic display day that it really falls apart if you're not there to keep it on. But you do the stuff where I say, like, I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to think, I want to do this, this, and this. And you'll go, yeah, but okay, so if you want to do that, you need to do this. Can you do that? Will this work? Here's the issues. And you're the proof check against stuff, and there's times I come to you and go, I want to do this, and you go, yeah, but it ain't going to work with that and that. Okay, cool. And all on the same hand, I'll say,
to bounce ideas off, don't you?
I want to do this. How can I achieve it? And you'll go, well, do this. Okay. And that in the planning and the run up is the huge, is the huge benefit,
I'll definitely be involved, and I might be there for the whole weekend. Yeah. I'm hoping it doesn't clash with the Forge World Open Day. But then if it doesn't, that's going to be... My wife will be on maternity, but also want to be allowed home at the end of it. So if she's been struggling with two kids and she's tired...
And you've taken 2 weekends off to go and play.
So we'll have to see how it works. But
but it's the same for me. I'd like it not to clash because I want to get a Forge World Open Day. I mean, if you know... I don't want to give too many details away and stuff, but if you know when Forge World Open Day is, you can take a guess when we're planning on doing it. The reason we're planning on that weekend is because we're tied. There's a local festival called 2000 Trees Music Festival, and it basically means everybody who would drink in the Two Pigs nightclub, which is Incom's home, goes up there, including most of the Chip staff. So he generally doesn't open the nightclub that weekend. So like the weekend that we ran, we have the full venue for the weekend.
You can leave the tables up.
We can leave the tables up. We can have the curry club in the evening. We can have control of the venue to do more things with. So to achieve the maximum amount of what I get at an event, I'm tied to those dates, which is fine, and that's how it runs. And if it clashes with open day, it clashes with open day. But again,
it's only last year it clashed. I think the year before it was separate weekends. So we don't know. It depends on... Obviously, when Forge World are planning that open day, and it depends when 2000 Trees is, which is probably the same weekend each time, isn't it?
Andy and Anuja are listening, or anybody, just send me a message and I'll let you know my dates I want, and you can just move that open day around for me. Come on, and then you can come and play with us. And I'm open invite to Andy Hoare if he wants to come to Tarssis. He's got a free ticket.
I imagine they have nothing to do about when that's planned. I imagine that's a mix of the availability of the events team talking with Tony about when they want to do it. But it's cool. We'll see how it works. But
so Tarssis has been fun. There will be more next year. There will be more stuff. There will be more things. We will be doing AT. I want to do.
Are you going to call it Tarssis 5? Are you going to go Tarssis 3 or just not?
Don't ask for names. Tell me which is the correct way to spell Tarssis. Double S-I-S? S-I-double-S?
I don't know reading that out. I do it while typing.
Depends what I've typed that day. Because as Carl pointed out, it's different on the certificates than it is on the trophies.
Oh, brilliant.
But
that doesn't
we're going to look at
teaches
something.
you to come up with a stupid
I'm
name.
massively dyslexic and I'm a moron, and people trust me to organise things. How does that work? But
it should be easy because it's got multiple of the same letter in a.
Yeah, but it's getting the 3 S's in the right. There's 3 S's and an I, and what order they go in is different depending what day of the week it is for me. But it's been good fun and a massive. And I say we talk about sort of self-congratulatory pats on the backs about how well we've done.
Well, we've been doing that for 20 minutes nearly now.
It wouldn't have been Tarssis without the people. The support the community's given it. The fact we sell tickets out in minutes. Is insane.
The level of the hobby and the growth of that over the events. So the winners and the winners for the painting and things at this time round. Yeah. That the top winning armies always seem to be of a very similar level, top level stuff, but the overall standard for the whole field has got better each time as these same people that are returning are improving their hobby.
Well, as I said, one of the things we'll talk about, I said a good point. So when we were talking about the discussion, we had our top list, and I remember we were talking about, I threw Tom Clowes in there as somebody as a potential for the painting awards and consideration, and it was interesting. We talked because Tom's an army we've seen since almost the very beginning of Tarssis, and he's constantly asked for feedback from us in his army. And one of the things I was really impressed with his army was seeing that transition between where it started and where it finished. And we discussed
It's got
that.
great uniformity to it.
Yeah,
and
we
it looks
talked
like
about
a
that.
nice collection.
And that's a great example of that, like how everybody's been pushing on and pushing on and pushing on. You know, I mean, someone's got to dethrone Carl one day at a weekend. You know, to stop him taking every painting award.
Well, we managed to do that by getting him to
by
come and
making
help
him
us
bloody
run it.
judge. Yeah.
I mean, we don't. People don't know who's won what because you didn't ever do a post saying thanks. I know we couldn't put pictures in it because Chip took all the awards pictures
in the pitch black,
in the pitch
halfway
black
across the fucking garden. They were fucking shit.
I asked Tom, Tom, you were going to do a post with all the winners and the photos, and he sent me the pictures, and they pretty much just pictures of Dark with eyes and teeth where people are smiling. It's about all you can get.
Right. So
let's give the winners.
I can look at them and see them. So the first award we gave out was our Services to the Heresy Award, which is something we like to give out for somebody who's done something at the event that
extra fun or extra special.
It's somebody that's really gone above and beyond for it, you know. So we had Rob last time for coming down and basically bailing us out for you know, being crew and coming all the way down and doing that. And you know, we've done various things like that. So we gave Mr. Beecher Jones, Mr. September, his Stormbine Harvester. Had to have a nod. It's amazing. He's motorised the Combine Harvester blades at the front. He spent most of the weekend, most of the day playing I Got a Brand New Combine Harvester at the Bluetooth speaker in it. And generally making me laugh constantly with it. So
you'll have seen pictures of that in the event threads. I think.
Sam took away one of the awards for Services to the Heresy. And we actually gave Chip the other one because, for fuck's sake, he puts up the fucking. He basically has to deal with me at my worst when I'm going, where are my trophies? Where's my shit? What's this doing? What's this going? I need this. What's that? And he's going, it's all coming. And I'm going, yeah, but I want it now. I want it now. I want it. So he gets to tense me constantly. So that's it. Then we moved on to the Saga of Legend, the infamous Saga of Legend award. The official voting regulations had to be
changed. They've been changed every year, haven't they?
Yeah, because I can't do it.
Just counting hands. I don't even bother counting. I just looked at it.
Yeah, it's like that. So Sam actually walked off with that one as well for his.
Don't ask me to remember the stories.
Yeah, I can't remember it either. But it was something. Oh, he was stealing a termite and running away and.
Maybe.
And then Dan and Callum took their highly commended places. Dan with a proper story and Callum screaming, "Oh Jesus, Fenton! Oh Jesus, Fenton, the Fleshhound!" Memes seemed to go down well, but so that was the Saga of Legend award. Oh, and then we got what do we do next? That was Hobby Hero. So the Hobby award is peer voted, basically best army.
You can include more than you can pick it just on what you think is the best painted, but you can also pick your favourite army based on a collection of hobby and theme and presentation of fluff and all the other things.
Yeah, we've had people make maps and books and Carl being Carl, you know, and lots of other presentation ideas. Cy Davis finally won an award at Tarssis. He got his beautiful army, his Dark Angels and Alpha Legion walked away. He's been forever the bridesmaid at Tarssis quite a few times, and he walked away with the Hobby Hero with Mr. Cormac, who is now the perennial Tarssis bridesmaid, taking highly commended with Mr. Collister as well. So that was the Hobby. And then Chip moved in a bit closer and we can actually see stuff. And then we had the best painted. Now, the best painted we talk about is me, you, and Carl this time.
We normally have a third judge.
We have a guest judge because it breaks the deadlock between us, usually. And this is where we go in and look at the army. We look at the model painting. And, I mean, we are splitting hairs on beautiful models now. I mean, the stuff we were talking about to split the three people up into the winners was minute stuff, you know, really real details. And it's fantastic because it was like any of these three armies are winners outright. You know, you almost want to say, let's get three.
And I'd love to have spent longer looking at them. And I'd love to have been able to sit in a separate room with no one there picking up and handling the models. But again, we're viewing them at the tables.
We get an hour to look at them during lunch, and then we as we're pooling around, but then they're on the tables and they're in game, and it's like. But Mr. Ollie Mew's beautiful World Eaters and his beautiful Warhound.
I think he's pretty much tranced round the southern events this summer.
He's just toured the Southwest collecting best painted awards. And Cy and Rob Medwell took highly commended place for that. And again, on any day, any one of those three armies could have won. Mm-hmm. They were stunning, and it was just me, you, and Carl spent about 2 hours.
And we had it was a full consensus, so there was no vote. We all thought. So
we were all happy with it.
We're glad we didn't have to pick a second and third because we just.
There's no way we could have split a second. We'd have been there all day.
There was a consensus on it, but during our discussion, I don't think we made a decision to the end. It wasn't like we'd picked who was the winner.
Ollie's won, and then the others. It was
we all discussed it in detail, and then from our discussion, all think I think we all almost helped each other come to a decision.
Work together to a consensus. But again, I said it to say the reason we do the winner and two highly commended is because it's not impossible. If we'd had to go to a second and third place on that, we'd have been there all
and there
day.
were people that were really close to being in the commended as well.
We could have done 5 or 6 commended certificates quite comfortably and felt happy.
And that might be something we look at. I've talked to you about this before. This is just an idea as well. It's not an announcement. I quite like the idea that some events in the AOS do things like nominations.
Yeah, almost like a finalist pin from Golden Demon.
So I think it only works if you've got. You have to have a set number of nominations, otherwise you're going to get. You can have too many. You imagine having 18 nominations in a 20-player event and 2 people without certificates.
Yeah,
feel a little bit. Sorry.
Well, one of the things I'm looking at next year for Tarssis for whatever becomes of the event series next year is, do we have a proper painting competition? Yeah. Do we have?
We've got the time to do it. We've got
display cabinets
and stuff. Then let's do it.
Might make Mr. Steele come in and actually now he's a West Country local and say, right, you can fucking sit there all day and judge all these entries. But again, opening it up to get people who might say, well, I don't really want to come down and game. I'll come down on the Saturday and put.
I'd love to. I'd love to be involved in running that. Yeah. If I can do it, I'd run the painting bit for you.
There's logistical issues with that about making sure you got cabinets and security and stuff. Golden Demon. I know when I went down to London GT this year, I think it was Martin Weller was really unhappy because he turned up to put his entries in and they basically were like, we'll just put them on a table in the middle of the entrance hall to the stadium, and he was like, I can't just leave these Golden Demon, these were Golden Demon winning models. I'm just going to fucking leave them sat on a table. Like, if you're going to invite an open painting competition that's going to attract those kind of people, you have to present it at that kind of level, If you're just running a 20-player event and you can bring a model along for it, fine, cool.
I'm not sure we would be attracting those kind of people, to be honest with you.
But
we still want to make sure that we look after their models and make sure that they're well lit enough for people to enjoy them.
Exactly.
And us to I think it could be done, but it's something for us to talk about.
These are the sort of things we're talking about. Just as I said, and the main idea is this idea of opening up the event to as many people as possible to come down and enjoy the experience of being around and enjoying Tarssis. But I think that's a fairly solid roundup of Tarssis.
Wasn't there another award?
No.
In sports?
Well, I've got a picture of sports.
Oh dear, are you sure?
Yeah, because I stopped because I was like, I've been through all the pictures.
Now, it's testing our memories now. Can you remember?
Yeah, there we go. Dunk Cormac. I just
because he said when you
I
said
just
earlier,
called him a perennial bridesmaid, and I realised he actually did win. But he won the best sports. Yeah, so best sporting.
Probably Meadows is now the person that's got most kind of commended
without managing to take a win. Sporting. I missed that picture. We had the usual runners up with the wackiest man in Heresy, Callum, with all his hand flamers. And then Ollie Mew actually he's not just a beautiful army, he's a lovely person to play. He took a highly commended, and so did Jonas. And that was won by Mr. Cormac. He finally got himself a glass trophy to put with his armour. So, there was best sporting. Yeah, I thought there was one short. I was looking through and thinking, I'll run out of pictures.
So which is spelt right, though? The trophies or the certificates?
I'm not going to tell anybody, because whoever's got the other is going to be annoyed that it's spelled wrong. No answering that question. I'm just going to keep spelling it differently every time, just to keep the mystery. Right, I think we'll take a little close down. We'll take a little break.
Lord Marshal Great, sir. Legion reinforcements now visible on the left flank.
About time. The wolves, I see.
No, sir. Ultramarines, sir.
But they're wearing grey, Proclamator Fennec.
Fox message said new recruits, sir. No time to paint armour.
At least the Raven Guard are in black armour.
Sorry, sir. That's more Ultramarines.
For Emperor's sake, fox them and find out why.
Also new armour, sir. Their eye lenses are red, and the bolt guns are silver. 3 colours minimum, sir.
What the? get on the Vox now and tell them to contact Miniature Realm Studio.
Miniature Realm Studio, sir.
Yes, Fennec, Miniature Realm Studio offers a commission painting service, competitive rates, and a range of painting standards to suit most budgets and requirements.
Yes, sir. I suppose they do say that fully painted is for closers.
What does that even mean, Fennec?
I don't know, sir.
Miniature Realm Studio can be found on Facebook, on Twitter at Miniature Realms, on Instagram at Miniature Realm Studio, or just drop Stuart an email at miniaturerealmstudio@gmail.com.
Cool. Hello. We are back for a little wrap-up then. We've had some interesting news pop up as we've been recording. I'm assuming this has come off Community. It's stuff from the Black Library weekend that I hadn't seen. But we have confirmation from the Black Library weekend what the Siege of Terror book series is going to look like. Which is really interesting. So from the Black Library weekend, so I'll read the slide directly. Well, Siege of Terror will take place over 8 novels. Perfect.
Good.
The Solar War, which is the first book, will launch hardback globally in May. There'll be early access via a limited edition A5 hardbook in March. And the standard paperback editions will follow as per our normal heresy. So
6 months after, isn't it?
Yeah, so we're probably end of next year before we're looking at another heresy book, which is about right. We know we've got 1 or 2 more heresy books. Is it 2 more?
Heralds of the Siege is out now, isn't it?
Or just about coming out.
Just about to come out. I think it's just come out.
Yeah, which is the tail end of this year. Our last quarter book. We've got at least 1 more book coming out, which is the one they previewed a couple of months ago, which is the final book, which I think is the.
So there's Titan Death.
Oh yeah, we've got Titan Death, and then we've got the one which
Buried
is the
Dagger.
Yeah, which is the Plague Fleet book, basically, isn't it? It's the Death Guard's Fall.
Let me just double check I've not missed anything. So I've got my book list in here. Bum, 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 bum. Dum, dum, good radio. Yeah, Heralds of the Siege is book 52, which is out. Yeah,
now-ish. Yeah.
Titan Death, which is December. I don't know the exact date, and then there's Buried Dagger, which we know is
which will be February, March.
Yeah, and then looks like Siege of Terror. The first one, the Solar War book. Now people will have already read this and heard this by the time they listen to this podcast. But because we talked about it, didn't we? And we talked about our concerns about, I hope it's not as much as it'd be lovely to have another 20 books. We didn't want another, we didn't want to long it out too much.
We didn't want, everybody knows there are books in the Heresy series which are filler books. There are definitely books we're all aware of that we go, I'd rather have 8 good books. I want to get to the end purely
because, not because I'm eager for it to end because I don't like it, because I'm excited for it to end. And
I want to see where we're going to go,
And I don't want to get sort of to the point where I'm thinking, you know what, because other things might come along which take my interest as much as this, and I want to still kind of enjoy this.
We don't want to fall out of love with the Heresy before it ends, because it's ground
danger.
Because it's ground on.
I'll still always read them and enjoy it, but I'll definitely want to be super passionate for it.
I want to be saying, right, when that last book is coming out, I'm going to have it on pre-order, and I'm going to be having it on the limited edition, and I'm going to be buying it now because it's the most. I don't care, I want it. I don't want to be going, oh shit, it's the last book. I'll pick it up in a bit because I've got other things on. Yeah. So that was cool. That landed as we were talking today. Did Jamie post that? Yeah, Jamie.
I don't know. You saw it. I don't not.
Yeah, I think Jamie posted it in our group. So cool. We got some events to shout out. The first one is the Scribes of War event.
Sold out.
Which when Chris sent it to us, had months to run up before it went ticket sales. As of recording, it sold out in a couple of hours. It's going to be an amazing event up in Stratford-upon-Avon. Apparently the venue Chris has got is absolutely amazing. It's going to be a wonderful event, and Chris does super good events. I know the Scribes guy do some really good...
They do loads of events.
They do loads of really good AOS
events. But they do loads of events,
So if you're interested in that, go and check out the Scribes of War Facebook page and shoot Chris a message. I'm sure he'll want reserves lists, and if we know what events are like, he will be looking for reserves. And then we've got Lewis. Can we shout out their first event, the Return to Harmony? It's a 3 1,500-point Scout Force games scheduled for the 22nd of December. So a nice bit of Christmas heresy for you. A nice little Christmas game. They have on-site parking.
£15.
£15. So £15 for the day. Search the Return to Harmony.
Have you said where it is yet?
No, because it's not actually in his message.
Horus Heresy Birmingham is the link. So
Yeah,
I'm
that's
guessing
it.
it's
Yeah,
in-
it's part.
guessing they're
Go
running
and
it in
search
Birmingham.
Horus Heresy Birmingham. Those are the guys who are running it. So, yeah, go and check them out and go and support that event in Birmingham. It'd be wicked. Nice central location. Cool. So, as always, guys, we always say this: if you want events shouted out, we're more than happy to do it. You know,
With a
our fucking
disclaimer.
terrible recording schedule is erratic as anything. So the best thing to do, share in our group. If it's a heresy event or heresy related event, just crack on, share in the group and get it out there. There's a good group of nearly 500 in there, 600 in the group now. So you're going to hit most people.
I can't remember.
There's nearly everybody who listens to the show, I reckon, is in there now.
Yeah,
So
you'll hit more people by getting it in the show, but in terms of people that are likely to
Yeah.
hit your event, you'll
Yeah,
you'll
get it
more
in there.
targeted people.
So
the
share
group
it
will
in
do it.
there. So cool. I think that rounds it out. Unless you've got anything else you want to
No,
mention?
no. Hopefully we're back for the next one a little bit quicker than the last break. The plan is that
To
we'll
record
be,
at the end of the month.
So this is what
Couple
is it
of
now?
weeks.
It's the 4th of November that
Yeah.
we're recording this. It's probably going to be a week before this goes out.
Yeah.
Because of work.
Live.
Really. I'll probably be getting it out next weekend, but. Hopefully we'll get another one in before the end of the month. That's the plan.
Yeah,
And the next one is likely to be a listener questions.
Yeah,
one.
we haven't had a list of
But
questions.
we will
show for a
ask
while
you
and-
where we want the questions, but it's easy to get them all in one place. So we'll put
Yeah.
up a notice in the group,
Yeah.
and you can fire us some
questions and stuff.
But,
We're gonna have a good old session with that again because it's always good fun. Me and you particularly enjoy doing those, and we haven't done one for a while. So yeah, I think that about wraps us up.
Yep. Take care, guys.
I won't pick the music this time because apparently my music taste is awful.
Doesn't surprise me. Yeah. Right. Take care. We'll see you soon.
See you soon, guys.
You can write your tunes with rhythm and blues as your alibi. You can sell your soul and lay the blame all on the passers-by. You shake your body on the TV screen. It seems to me you try anything twice. You can swing it out and use it as your aphrodisiac. You can give it to me, plain to see that I'll give it you back. You let it flow, let it go. There's nothing to it, anyone can try anything twice. Try anything twice. Chasing after stories that have already been told. Look old sunhouse in the eye. Unaware you carry such a fragile load, but I got yours and you got mine. It's a rhythm and blues alibi. You can take a trip through a juke joint smoke-filled paradise. You can give it your all, 'cause you are walking a fine, fine line. You shake your booty on the TV screen. See